Life needs more Cedar Point, more smiles, more surprises, more screams, more days in the sun and nights on the shore, more oohs and ahs and yums, more moments with your family and friends, more memories you get to share again and again. Life needs more Cedar Point, more than ever.
And now you can have more for less. Save up to $25 on tickets when you buy online now. Only at cedarpoint.com.
If you've ever been a renter, you know it's stressful to find a place with everything you love and nothing you don't. But did you know Zillow does rentals? It makes the search so easy. They have filters for pretty much everything, so you can find that place that's in your budget, but also isn't a shoebox. Or a place that's close to your parents, but far enough they have to call first. Plus, it's easy to apply, request tours, and pay rent in the app. Head to ZillowRentals.com and find your sweet spot.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. I'm just ready to talk about some things that suck, like Team USA basketball. Some stuff that was great, like the NBA Finals. A couple, funny things I noticed throughout the week, and we just got a lot to cover here. So, just ready to do it, man. So, with you?
Not much, man. Like, it feels like this week was almost like a month with all the stuff that happened. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, all right. So since we're talking about sports, let's just get to sports, right? So, the NBA Finals ended the day after the last show we did. The Milwaukee Bucks won in 6. They lost the first 2 games and won in the next 4. I think that's pretty much what happened to them 2 years ago with the Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Giannis. He had an all-time great finals run, an all-time great postseason campaign. He's 26 years old. He closed out the finals with a 50-point game, and I think it was like 11 or 14 rebounds. Doesn't matter. 50 points. He was unstoppable. There were times where he was the only person on the team like he could do anything, and a lot of people have questioned whether or not he had that in him if everything's weren't optimal for him. And he basically put his head down and said, no, I'm keeping my team afloat. We are winning this, and we are not going to a game 7. We're into this shit now. And I thought that it was a special performance for somebody that I thought, I think we both liked and thought for a while, like, if he can just reach one more level, we're talking about, somebody that you can never forget as long as you're alive from the perspective of historical thing as opposed to being a generational talent. I think he's all-time talent now. I think he's one of the 25 greatest basketball players already, given what his last 4 years have been. And like at this age, like unless injury happens, I think the next 5 years he's going to be this good, and you're gonna have to deal with it. So what are your thoughts on it?
Games 5 and 6 were some of the most entertaining basketball games that I've ever watched. Going like that, I'll take it back to game 5 before I get to game 6. Like that last play where Drew Holiday had been clamping pretty much the whole game and going nuts himself. And he, broke out his own variant of the Jason Kidd hands. And when he steals that ball, like there's actually two sequences. There's one where he like rips Devin Booker and hits a 3. And then there's the one where he rips Devin Booker at the end, runs up, and then Giannis flies in from outer space to throw down the alley-oop, like the NBA street oop, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he, contorts his body out the way because Chris Paul's two-handed shoving him, and he lands safely. I jump off the couch. I'm like, I can't believe I saw this. This was like, I was like, this is why I like basketball. It's like the defense steps up, make a great play, run down. You see some absolutely crazy athletic shit. Like I mentioned to you off the air, I was like, I love the way the Warriors played the last years, like the Warriors dynasty. It's like it's the best basketball we're probably ever going to watch, right? All the shooting, the ball movement, the different looks on offense, the spacing, like I'm like, that's great, but that feels like optimized, like, you just can't do that shit. But like, I mean, you can't do this either, right? With what Giannis is doing, but it's just like, it's so much, like, it's so much more raw and visceral the way he gets it done. Yeah. And I just loved it. And then in the game 6, he just like decided, we're not losing. Like, we're not putting on suits. We're not getting on no planes, nothing. The buck stops here. Like, it's over. Like, I'm going, like, you have no big man. You have no one that can stand in front of me. I'm going to do what I want. To quote Lil Uzi Vert. And he was just like, I was just like, damn, like, he's 26. He had some injury luck go his way on this time, but, a lot of people do. And I was happy because I thought Giannis did it the right way. Like, I praised him for re-signing with the Bucks, sticking with his team that drafted him, and the organization like made a questionable move with the Drew Holiday thing. Like, we were like, yo, that's a lot of draft picks for Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday worked out pretty much better than you could imagine. And Chris Middleton was awesome throughout the finals as well. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him stepping up, hitting, different big shots at different times. But I was very happy for Giannis, and it just felt like, yes, that young man deserves that. He deserves all this love. Like, hearing his story and how far he came, talking about, from Greece and, from Nigeria here, and then like how poor he was. Yeah. And I was listening to Levitard.
The story sounds like some Sammy Sosa Dominican Republic shit. Like how you hear about like Dominican players, how like they started playing baseball with a glove being a milk carton, a used milk carton. Like, hear the story about like him and his brother were sharing shoes to play. Like, that's crazy.
Like, he was like not eating and showing up to practice and not telling anybody that he hadn't eaten or whatever. And there's a book coming out about him next month. I'm planning to get it. That pretty much details his entire struggle. They were talking about when he first got to the league, he hadn't been used to having money before, so he wanted like his money in cash. Like, it was a while before he, had direct deposit, and he didn't quite like get the concept. Like, there was a staffer that was hanging out at his house, and Giannis pretty much always having to know what he has at all times, because you're trying to budget that shit essentially, whether it's food or money or anything. There was a staffer that ate 3 Oreos from his kitchen or whatever. The next day, Giannis goes to the practice and goes up to the staffer and is like, yo, why'd you eat my 3 Oreos? And like, this man's, by this point, I don't know if he's a multimillionaire yet, but it's just like the mentality for him hasn't changed.
But at the same time, he's also like, but his situation is he's taking care of his family. Like, he's sending money back. He's been sending money back the whole time. That
whole time, and he was setting up his house to move his family here, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to move here because the Greek government isn't like the U.S. where they guarantee citizenship to people that are born there. So they were waiting to get the word they could move to America with him, and the whole time, all his game checks are going to basically set up for the family to move over. And I couldn't be happier for him, and he embodies everything I like about the game.
Yeah. And me and some of the friends, and some of our friends in like some of these group chats have gone at it because like, I think people have gotten too lost of what his game is and the stuff he can't do, as opposed to the part where it's like, that shit don't matter if he's kicking your ass and he's balling. Like, I remember the 2015 finals when LeBron ended up getting up 2-1, they ended up losing in 6 or whatever, and like LeBron didn't shoot well in that series, but his like numbers were just ridiculous, like 35 and 12 and shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember Julian, our homeboy Julian, that ended up playing at Eastern Kentucky. He was saying like his game he doesn't have a bag of go-to moves like in and out dribbles between the legs, step back, cross tween and all that shit. And I'm just like, that shit don't matter like that. Like, I understand what you're saying, Julian, and I see what you're saying to an extent, but when you have that, when you can beat people off the dribble, you ain't got to do all that, right?
Different.
And obviously with like LeBron's game is different from Giannis, where Giannis is like, he's realized what his true ceiling is as a basketball player, and that's always been I think I realized this last year, like last playoffs, is like he needs to be a screener. He needs to be a ball screener. Someone needs to ball, and he needed a point guard. It's like, it's cool that we made him a point guard when Jason Kidd gave him the ball 5-6 years ago, and he started going nuts, and that's when you first start noticing. I was like, bro, Jason Kidd has unleashed something with him being a point guard, but it was only going to take him so far with his limited range as a shooter. And like, if he never gets 15-foot range, oh well. Like, he's the fifth or sixth best basketball player in the world doing this. Like, everybody,
and on any given day, like how competitive he is and how hard he plays, like, he's going to always be able to give you work because he's working and operating around the rim. Like, he was doing the stuff like in the 2011 finals. We're like, LeBron, go to the fucking rim. Like, there's no hesitation with Giannis. There's like, I know what I have to do. I'm built for this. I'm throwing DeAndre Ayton off of me. Like, I've lifted these weights. I've put in the work. Like, I didn't care. Like, I saw someone say something like, he basically came into the league with Kevin Durant's frame. While Kevin Durant mastered, the jump shooting and, everything else, Giannis went the other way. He was like, I want to master the weights. Like, and he didn't even know how to lift weights when he came into the league.
I think that was also born out of necessity, right? Like, I don't want to say, okay, look, you only get tapped.
And getting 3 square meals too, probably for the first time.
Right. Like, you only get, we talk about it often with when it comes to football players or whatever else that are like under recruited, and all of a sudden, like, how come they end up going from being some 2-star recruit to being a first round draft pick? And most times it's stuff like this person was in a situation where they weren't eating a consistent meal, or they were too big to begin with and they had to lose weight, or the situation where this person didn't go to camps at this range. That's how people get missed on, right? But for the most part, or people have these random growth spurts where like, oh yeah, this person gained 50 pounds, right? But I think the thing with Giannis was like, that weight program was like, look, man, it would be cool, it'd be great if you could do the Durant stuff, but like, you only get tapped. Who the creator only taps you on the head with certain attributes, and no matter how long you in the gym, and I don't doubt that Giannis is in the gym looking at his body transformation over these years and how much better he's gotten year after year after year. Like, there's only a ceiling on what you can do. Maybe Giannis never becomes a 3-point shooter. Oh fucking well, 30.
40,
30.
50.
No, well, I just mean like worst case scenario from him, you were getting 30 and 11, worst case scenario, and 5 assists, worst case scenario, every single game. And it don't matter if it looks good, it don't matter if it looks bad. You know that dude, he's going to get you numbers, and he's a consistent performer in that way. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's like, that's the reason why I was getting like annoyed with some of the guys in the thread, not in our homeboys thread, not the Social Suplex thread. I think they all appreciate Giannis for whatever he is, right? But like the talk of the bag and doing all this stuff, and like compare the juxtaposition of him being on the court with Durant for 7 games is like, well, why can't he do this? Like, bruh, There's only one of them. Like, Kevin Durant is the first unicorn, right? Like the 7-foot dude, or close to damn near 7-foot dude that can has all-star guard skills and has 30-foot range. If they made more than two of those, we need to check for aliens. So, you know, I think like, so he went the other route. Like he couldn't handle. He was already destined. He was going to be great regardless of his body transformation. He was already, but once he started pulling the weight, it became another thing, and he's gotten better. He became bigger defensive force, and like he had the ball in his hands. And he was just, the last 4 years he was incredible. And like the one thing that we were thinking about, like when he got bounced against Miami before he ended up getting hurt in that series, but they were still like they were going to lose him if he got health. He had health luck that year. Was like, he needs a point guard. Like Drew Bledsoe and DiVincenzo, they weren't gonna get the job done, and then they end up doing this. End up getting not Bledsoe. End up getting Drew Holiday, and like Drew's not a perfect point guard, but he's a lot better than whatever he's had. And that enough was enough. Was some a little bit injury luck, and this they have a title now, and I'm happy for him because like when he signed that extension, remember last summer I was flat out wrong about it because they ended up winning, but it's like, bro, he signed his extension. And I think this is it. Like, he's going to be in like KG in 5 years, where we're like, all-time great player, never won with the team because he was too loyal, and ultimately being his downfall. And hopefully he can, you know, at the end of this final big contract, he can go somewhere while he still has some knees on him, some tread on his tires, and, you know, go somewhere and win a ring. And I think Milwaukee will be okay with that. You know, it's like the Ray Bork, Kevin Garnett situation we talk about with athletes, where it's like, you gave us your prime, we couldn't get done for you. As a fan base, we want you to win it somewhere else, we'll be happy for you. But luckily, it worked out in his favor. And I'm happy for it, because I really felt bad for dude, because I was like, I like watching him play. I love the things he does on the court. And I don't think that like this franchise, especially after they botched that Bogdanovich thing, and I was like, oh my God, they don't know what they're doing. So I'm happy it has worked out for him. I really am.
Look, and he not on the We Are the World shit. He trying to kick your ass. Like, bring that back. Bring that back. This shit been too pretty in here, you know. But from transitioning from the Bucks, Team USA basketball. God damn it. So disappointing. So just, I watched this game Sunday morning.
Who did they play? France?
France.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. France, who's beaten us twice in a row now. Greg Popovich is like 11-6 as a coach for the USA.
Yeesh.
Right? I'm watching this game, and all I'm seeing is like, wow, like, there's such a stark difference in how these guys play in the NBA and how they play internationally, and on both fronts. Like, all the France guys, they're locked in. Evan Fournier going fucking nuts. Turning to Reggie Miller out here. Our guys looking like they freezing up. Not really wanting to assert themselves. But even with that, throughout the first half, we go into the half with like an 8-point lead. All of a sudden, the adjustment is made. Team USA, the Achilles heel for us this year is size, is also point guard playmaking. But the thing that really did us in with the size was when French decided to put their 2 7-footers on the floor. And they were like, we're just going to go big. And then we could, like, our access paint was cut off. The outside shots, like, when we collapsed in the fourth quarter, flat out. Like, this wasn't a case of like, oh, these dudes got lucky, and this was like some Carlos Arroyo, like, people playing out of their mind shit. Like, this was like, all right. Like, I was watching the game, and I was talking to Catherine. It was like the third quarter. It was like 62-60, and France was winning. But I was like, oh, I feel confident the USA is going to win. And I didn't say that from like a place of arrogance. I was like, well, what's happening isn't like no one was going crazy for France. Like, at that point, It was just like, we were kind of going through the motions, but I thought they would figure it out. Like, we were controlling the game. And then we weren't. And then there were like, and then there were broken plays. And then it's just all fucked up. Like, we have the most talent. We have 10 all-stars on the team, and we are losing out here. We've got Iran. That game is at 12:40 tonight. Starts 3 hours from now as we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
We should blast Iran. However,
hey, you can't just say that. You can't blast them on the basketball court.
Yes.
Okay.
But then we got the Czech Republic on Saturday, and the Czech Republic just beat Canada, who has a bunch of NBA players, to qualify for the Olympics. So nothing's guaranteed for Team USA. They have to win these next 2 games to make it to the knockout round. But that loss was incredibly disappointing. It's making me look at Greg Popovich like, you're really not the coach that needs to be, leading this international team going forward. Every 16 years since 1972, the 4th cycle has always been a problem for us. And I wonder why. And then I start thinking about it, and it's like, the way that the eras have just broken, kind of, is we end up losing, and then we're like, fuck that. And then we send over the best we got. And then we send over a little bit less, like, the next time. But it's, still really good. And then the third time, it's like, well, we couldn't really get everybody, but we still, got it. This is your 2000. This is your 2016. If you line up, like, so do it like this. The Redeem team in 08 in 1992, right?
Yeah.
And then 2004 is 1988, right?
Yeah.
Going forward. So then 2008, we're like, we got to send Kobe. We got to send LeBron, Wade, Dwight, Bosh, Jason Kidd,
Chris Paul, Darren Williams. Yeah.
All right. And then they're eating fucking hamburgers and blowing teams out by 50, like in gas stations and shit.
Yep.
So that's our, 92 or whatever. And then 96 is like, your Dream Team 2 with your Shaq, Hakeem, Miller, Barkley, shit like that. And that's your 2012. A little bit older guys. Kobe, older at that point.
Has Durant, has Westbrook and Harden come off the bench.
Right.
Yeah.
2000 is 2016. It's like, I don't, they've got young stars. They've got people that have kind of proved themselves. They've got dudes that need to win something to feel like winners, like DeMarcus Cousins and your Alonzo Mourning, kind of, similar stuff there. And then it all fucking comes crashing down in 2004, in which it seems like we're on the path of doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's all coming down. Greg Popovich was on the staff in 2004.
Like, if you think about 2004, right, and you're like, okay, if you go back to 2004, no Shaq, no Kobe, no Paul Pierce, no Kevin Garnett. The only like
no McGrady,
no T-Mac. The only true and who had played in 2000. The only true stars that we really had at that point in time were Iverson and Duncan, and then everybody else was like rookie Wade, rookie LeBron.
And Marbury went nuts. He scored like 31 of them games.
But it's like, in a regular situation, he's not even playing. Like, Jason Kidd would be on the fucking team. You know what I'm saying? In 2004.
And now we're Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard.
Yep.
Those are your LeBron, Duncan and Iverson.
No LeBron, right? No LeBron, no Steph, no Kawhi because he tore his ACL, which we talked about how he was like how that was on the tuck for sure enough. It's unbelievable. Yeah. No Anthony Davis. Like, and you just look at like the first team All NBA and second team All NBA, and like only people there is Lillard and Durant.
Yep. And then you start looking internationally, like Luka's going fucking nuts. He scores like the second most or third most points ever in the Olympics. He dropped 48 the other day in the middle of the night. Oh, by the way, the fucking presentation for this shit is absolutely trash. I understand the time difference and shit like that, but
that's no excuse because we've had the time difference before in 2008.
Right. Like because they've tucked this shit away on NBC Sports. It's on tape delay,
right?
Like really bad. They're like scheduling these things on the Peacock app. Like the U.S. women beat Nigeria today, right? It was all over Twitter. They don't show that game until tomorrow at 6 a.m. on the app. It's like, why would you do this?
And you can't even play it on demand?
You can play it on demand,
okay,
right? But it's like, why do we have to wait so long? Like, what is going on here? Like,
yeah, I mean,
like, why can't I just open the app and click what I want to watch live? Like, what's going on?
That's absolutely true. Well, I don't know why they're treating it like they're Stardom, like Stardom World.
Like they tuck this shit off. They're not broadcasting. And I know the Olympics isn't necessarily for the basketball fan. Like it's for your gymnastics, your human interest type shit, right?
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They've thrown it off on here like this shit doesn't matter. And
no. But
apparently it doesn't.
But here's the thing. Even if that is the case, if I can get a app in every single year, updated and yearly, watch any fucking NCAA tournament game I want to, that's also running on CBS, TNT, TBS, and all the affiliates, why in the fuck can't I do that for Peacock for the Olympics when they have 40 things going on in any given day in the that involve the Olympics?
Like, bro, I couldn't watch that Luka game if I wanted to.
What are you paying all of this money to the Olympics every 4 years for, or every 2 years for? You want to include the Winter Olympics, right, and the Summer Olympics? Why are you spending all this money to then not be able to sell this shit as ad space for people? What?
And also, they're being super selfish with the clips. Like, anyone that puts up a clip anywhere, that shit's getting yanked down by the IOC. Like, they're like in charge of the whole distribution. So it's like, you're not really going to see ESPN covering it. It's hard as hell to get a box score.
But that's always been the case. That's always been the case.
Like, it's hard as hell to get a box score on anything. Like, it's just like, it's miserable watching this shit, and we're losing. Like, so it's like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, we've got a bunch of ISO players. They're trying to make them play like the Spurs. It ain't working. The game, like our NBA players don't play like that anymore. Like, the game is different. Like,
that's true. But I mean, either way, like,
somebody got to rise the fuck up. Yeah, somebody got to rise the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, getting off the plane. Drew Holiday was awesome in that first game. Like, he was like the best player on the court. Durant just looked like his shot wasn't going in, so he said, fuck it. He fouled out. Like, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he fouled out. Dame time apparently doesn't work. Didn't come through customs.
It's only Pacific time?
Yes. Only in the Pacific time zone. We got JaVale McGee on the team. Like, exactly. I would have never thought JaVale McGee would be an Olympian, but whatever.
He didn't think he was ever going to be no fucking Olympian.
He was so happy when he got the call. Like, bro, they called that man. He woke up at like 6 a.m. was like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, he flew his ass out to Vegas or whatever to get there to go.
It's just wild, bro.
Yeah, but they better not fucking lose. Like, or it's only gonna get worse. Like, I'm only gonna rip them even harder. Like, it's like I might have to pull out a rant. Like, I might have to expose these boys.
I remember, what was it, like a week ago when there were people that left, so they had to add in JaVale McGee and that guy from the
Keldon
Spurs.
Johnson.
Yeah, and I was like, and I remember David Dennis was like, hey, it's crazy the kind of career that JaVale had, because this man's about to, now from where he was on those, Gilbert Arenas gun dueling team. Yeah, on them Gilbert Arenas gun dueling teams, he's now all of a sudden going to be a 2 or 3 time champion and a bronze medalist. And I was like, and I remember I replied to that. I was like, you think we win in bronze? What? And this was before they lost to France. I was like, bro, I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we're medaling. I think it's going to be the first USA men's basketball team to not medal in the Olympics.
Man. And Kevin Durant, you going to have to wear this. Ooh, don't lose. Don't lose. You the best player over there. Like, it's funny. They say all these other teams, they got NBA players now. Oh, we do too, motherfucker. Like,
all of them.
All stars, damn near. Like, what is happening here? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, y'all be out here going hard in the Drew League and all these workout tapes with these fucking trainers that are crooks. Like, y'all be in there talking about y'all got to work on y'all game and no double teaming and shit and all this other stuff. Like, but y'all show up out here looking like you don't give a fuck. And I don't want to say they don't give a fuck because they took that long ass flight over there. So why would you do that and you're not getting paid? However, like,
if you're gonna go over there, you may as well win the damn thing.
Right. You took the long flight. Why are you showing up like you sleepwalking? What's going on here? Like,
and I understand, like, I can understand if it was people like Booker or Drew or
like Drew played great.
Or Middleton. But this is my point. I understand if it's like anybody that was in the finals, anybody that was a conference finalist that came over and, like, they weren't doing that well because it's like, all right, you had the bubble. You may have had a long run in the bubble. It had the short return, come back to the league and play this completely condensed schedule and then play basically a month and a half of playoff basketball. So you just absolutely zapped from the last 2 years of what happened to you, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the case for almost all these people. Like,
what about it, Dame? You're always crying about something, Dame. Like
Lillard got his ass bounced up out of there. Durant was exhausted after game 7, but he
got a lot more help now. I thought Kevin Durant played great with great players. I don't know. Like, what's happening?
I don't know, man. I ain't watching the game, so I ain't got no answers. But this is the thing. I think the reason I'm not watching because I knew. I was like, nah, man. Once they lost that one game, I was like, nope, this ain't it. I'm not finna do it.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I advocate throwing rocks at them. They come out back here without gold. Throw rocks at them, at all of them. The coach too.
Oh man, so
embarrassing us like this.
See, I'm not with you because there's other people that want to throw rocks at them NBA players, and they want to throw them at them for a different reason. So look, I don't want to be in the same.
That's the
team.
only thing. Like, I hope not to fall on the same side of those people that want to see the USA lose. To, you know how I'm so hard on them, but it just happens to overlap, and I end up on the wrong side. Like, I'm trying to avoid that.
Bro,
right?
They were already doing that on Newsmax.
Unbelievable.
There's a dude that's out there saying that he's rooting against them because of their wokeness, and I was like, bro, you were never rooting for them to begin with, and that's the thing. We've always known this. We've been talking about this since 2004 about with Team USA. Like,
that's part of why I root for Team USA so hard.
Exactly. When they win, they're supposed to win. I get no joy out of it. Blah 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 blah. But when they lose, how dare they? These ungrateful, lazy, not unpatriotic motherfuckers. Motherfuckers is normally another word, but they so.
I just want to also say the answer is not sending a team of college kids, you fucking bozos.
Oh
like, people on Twitter suggesting that shit. Like, shut your dumb ass up.
Like, so you think our, I don't want to say our best, our C team loses, so we're gonna send over some kids.
Don't make sense.
To play professional grown men.
Can't do it. Won't do it. Talking about it'll at least be fun. Fun for who?
It ain't fun to get whooped.
Like, they would get whooped by 30.
Yeah, Angola would get revenge. Angola would get revenge. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Like, what do you think the Gasol brothers would do to them?
Jesus
look,
Christ.
Marc Gasol, refreshed internationally. Pau Gasol's on the team, 41 years old.
Nah, check
refreshed.
This out. Let's do this, right? Not
Luis
even that,
Scola,
right?
refreshed.
Let's just go back in time. Right? 2008 gold medal game. Team USA, Team Spain, Rudy Fernandez,
Still
Marco
on the
Rubio,
team.
Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka was on the 2012 team. He wasn't on the 8 team, was he?
Yeah. All right. No, he was not on 08.
Okay, the Gasol brothers versus Tyler Hansbrough. Okay, how? Yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. Fucking idiots.
We gonna send Draymond Green and as a 22-year-old and Hansbrough and
Blake Griffin. It'll be Blake. Yeah, starting backcourt. Blake Griffin, and Tyler Hansbrough, or whatever. Nah, man.
We would get our
Kevin Love, fat Kevin Love.
God, we would get destroyed.
Darren Collison.
Darren Collison. bro. And then you got to think about it, because like the people that are around the age then, like your James Hardens or Steph Curry, like it wasn't known, they weren't the James Harden or the Steph Curry yet. I mean, Steph was like,
Harden doesn't make the team. Steph makes the team because of the Davidson run, maybe.
Right, and then you gotta hope he catches fire.
Actually,
out here.
At that point, it was only just the one Davidson run, so I can't even say the two. It was just one. So he would have got on the team to be a sharpshooter. They had him on the bench.
So we can college All-Americans like Brandon Rush, Darrell Arthur, stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
maybe Derrick Rose.
I was about to say maybe Derrick Rose plays. Maybe Derrick Rose. But then it's like, okay, so you're going to start Derrick Rose in like, who?
And he can't shoot.
Right. In the international game. All right, good luck.
We would come out here like, bro.
Joe Dorsey, y'all coming off the bench?
Unbelievable.
Hasheem Thabeet is not Americanized, is he? He's not nationalized as American.
I'm not familiar with his background.
Okay. What's your boy from Pittsburgh? No ACLs, played for Spurs.
Yes, DeJuan Blair would have been starting center.
Yep.
DeJuan Blair. What would Pau Gasol have done to him?
Whatever you wanted. Whatever you wanted.
Yeah. Oh man! All right, enough Olympic talk. Y'all, if y'all want to hear more, I'll have it for you. In the next coming, show, we'll have, we'll know if we win, if we do well enough in group play. But the story of the week, pretty much, CM Punk and Bryan Danielson look like the wind is blowing and pointing both of these guys towards AEW. Read all this stuff all week. Twitter's just been pretty amazing. I've seen an account start up by a friend of mine, like on Twitter, I believe his name. I'm not going to drop his name because I want to keep some anonymity for him. But there was an account that was started. It was called Bad Bryan Takes. And you can pretty much find trash from whatever wrestling spectrum you frequent or whatever. So it's not, you can start an account pretty much based off anything, but the stuff that he's finding is fucking hilarious. Like that are these people that have flipped up on Daniel Bryan and turned on him. It's just amazing to me. But CM Punk being back, there's like a lot of smoke to that fire rather than the Bryan Danielson one. But, they said that he wasn't going to be in the 2K game. They said his action figure stuff is not on deck for the next year. So those are like some signs that you can look for, like how Aleister Black, when he signed that sponsorship deal with that kickboxing company, it's like, oh, you can't do that in WWE. He's out of here. With the CM Punk one, he's posting the Bulls theme song, like the serious Alan Parsons joint on his IG thing. They've apparently the SEC recruiting watch has leaked into AEW. People have been tracking Tony Khan's private plane. They've been shooting vignettes in the United Center. There's been a copyright trademark taken out called The First Dance. So I received some information from a Patreon from Jeremy that he's subscribed to that was breaking that down in more detail with, The First Dance and the United Center and stuff like that. And the only thing that I can come to a conclusion is, they are like, since WWE runs the Allstate Arena, they don't ever run United Center.
Right.
AEW is going to run United Center, and that's where they're going to bring out CM Punk.
Yeah. Have they already started selling tickets to all, or not All Out, but like, trying to think. Have they started selling tickets All Out already?
All Out's tickets are sold out. They're trying to fill in the Wednesday and Friday before then, but those tickets are doing pretty well too. Okay. And then there's an announcement on Wednesday of some big event Tony Khan's talking about. Okay. So this could be that First Dance thing later, like maybe that Thanksgiving show or something like that.
Well, the reason why I was asking is because it's like, people have talked about this for a while now when it comes to them doing Chicago, is that they have such demand for these Chicago shows. They need to do a bigger arena. Obviously, Allstate seems like it'll be a problem. So you have, obviously,
the other one.
You have the United Center, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
and I can't think of, like, if CM Punk comes out with that Bulls music, like, the roof is blowing off the building like in a way that I can't really compare anything to. Pretty excited if that's the case. CM Punk coming back. He's been out of the ring a long time. He's probably, I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but he did get into better shape during his MMA career.
That's true.
He's obviously a master of the microphone. I'm sure that'll be really easy to assimilate him into. Should he, everything that is prefaced here is with the caveat he actually signs and goes to AEW, right? So, there's dream matches everywhere. It doesn't make sense for him to me to go back to WWE because he said a lot of stuff, and if he's getting booked, I feel like he's going to be getting there's going to be some revenge gotten on CM Punk should he show back up.
Oh yeah,
I say take your ass to AEW, and I heard someone break it down like I think it might have been the flagship. It was like the thing that CM Punk tapped into was like the same side of like what created AEW. Like you
guys are idiots and you guys actually hate your fans. You guys actually resent your own fans. Yeah.
And it's like AEW is not complete until CM Punk arrives, essentially. Like,
I won't go that far, but I see what they mean.
Yeah, like with like a Punk and a Bryan, like AEW has been on like this signing spree of talent this year, especially like from WWE. Should Punk and Bryan come in, I think that's where you shut the door and be like, all right, these are the guys for the moment. We've reached the limit. Like we've got, all these other guys.
You think that's true with Rampage coming around?
Because they've still got their young class of their own guys too, and
yeah.
But
they like, but they don't like they do. I think they do a pretty good job for a national weekly episode of television of keeping people out the ring from doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have to look at it as far as like people that I think people will care about tuning in for and not having something kill off the ratings when we put people out there. But like, they might need I see what you mean, but like I'd have to look at it to see like, okay, so in order for them to kind of keep cycling people the kind of way at the rate they do with another hour, because Rampage is an hour, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if they have. I wonder if like they have enough people to do it the way they already do it, or if they would like I won't say overexpose, but I think like have people on at a bigger rate. Like I think maybe they might need a couple more people. I don't know, like name people besides after Punk and Bryan, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, man. Certain. So I really hope both of these things happen for obvious reasons. Like if Dan Bryan actually leaves that place that hates him. But
that's the thing with WWE, right? We said like they will fuck Punk, and I'm like, probably because they fuck the people they like too. Right? Like, bro, we can agree they like Roman Reigns, right? Look what they did to Roman Reigns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets screwed over with him. So, or not screwed over, but like, just embarrassed and made play the piss at times. So, like,
Floyd had a great thought on it. He was saying, like, treat it like sports. Like, you can never, quote unquote, have too much talent or whatever, right?
Yeah, there's no such thing as too many pass rushers, no such thing as too much pitching.
Right. So, like, you can look at it that way. Like, everything with AEW always comes through the lens of what happened for someone else and didn't work, right? Whether it's, hey, they're signing too many guys that used to work in WWE, down to trivial shit like, hey, there's too many fucking factions and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I trust them to make smart moves like these. I'm seeing like the Mark Henry stuff pay off. Like they're establishing a bigger footprint in like different communities. They're doing with like Boys and Girls Club, charity stuff. They're doing that in every city. They have like a team of like 5 wrestlers with that. Christian, he's been a solid addition to the mid card. Looks like he's circling around Jungle Boy. Something may happen with him. Andrade.
I thought that was another. I thought it was another Sting and Darby type situation.
I think they're gonna tether him, but there's something going on with them. I think they're gonna fight.
Okay.
But yeah, Sting, you brought him up. Like, has this been the best use of a legend in like how long?
Of a legend. That's in the ring wrestling him on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about it, but it's the best one that I've seen in a while. I mean, because you could say Finn Balor in NXT because he's a legend. but that don't necessarily count because he never retired, went away, and he came back after hiatus.
They
So
didn't even tell you where Finn Balor was when he came back to SmackDown.
You know, the funniest thing about that is I ended up, I think it was a fight tweet that's what are your, because one half of the way through the year, what are your most anticipated matches of the next rest of the year, right? So I wrote this list, and I was like, I want to see this eventual Tam and Mayu white belt match. I want to see a Jungle or Omega and Hangman, and I want to see Nanai and Arissa's 25th anniversary match. It was last weekend or 2 weekends ago, right? And then I wrote, because they had planned it for that Dublin takeover, UK takeover last year before the pandemic, Balor versus Walter. So I thought now that he's out of NXT, he was going to go and do that. And then it's next thing, and a week later, he shows up on fucking NXT on SmackDown. I was like, God damn it, I lost that match. They have robbed from me again.
Stolen. Stole from you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, man, as far as all of this stuff, I mean,
they both got tons of opponents.
Yeah, because that would
be great.
Think about it. They never wrestled or on a big stage on television. They never wrestled any of the elite guys. They never wrestled any of the guys that got fired from NXT. They're now in AEW. They fought Moxley, but
this
Moxley,
is a different guy.
Totally different guy. In
they got Lance Archer.
There's no reason to they're both babyface. There's no reason to do Danielson versus Moxley off rip. But the second they do Moxley versus Punk, that shield shit from 2013 never happened, bro. Totally, that shit was over. That shit was over 5 years ago. So yeah,
then
man.
They've got guys like Lance Archer, that were in New Japan. They've got different tags. Punk and Bryan could be a fucking tag team or something
awesome.
like that.
And actually do what we wanted them to do with the Indie Powers or whatever else in 2013 when they were tagged together on against the Wyatts and the Shield. Yeah, right. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I hope it happens. Bad week for those that say nothing leaks about AEW. This could have been strategically leaked because
that's what I was thinking.
The ratings have been great the last couple weeks. They've actually increased the last 2 weeks. They did their third biggest number ever this past week. We'll get to that in a little bit as far as the actual show. But
I think all the wrestling's going to get their ass kicked for a while now because of the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But after that, once we get to August or whatever.
September, Dave said, this September is going to be the most important ratings month since 1998. This September coming up. So, shit,
in theory,
Daniel Bryan there, that's a reason to watch. I've heard from WWE hardcores that are that'll get me to watch every week.
Well, quick question, right? When this shit when we first started seeing the trends for all this. Wasn't around the end of this year, around the time when Thurston predicted that NXT or AEW was going to intersect in the same viewership as Raw?
I believe so. I saw something today. I think it was Will RBR tweeted out a graph, one of them Thurston graphs that looked like the Raw and Dynamite numbers were on a collision course. Mm-hmm. He was like, now kiss like that. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, hope CM Punk, Dan Bryan ready. I can't think of two guys that they were the dudes. This should have been WrestleMania 30. Like, these were the guys in WWE, like, that the fans really wanted. And, you know, they had John Cena, they had Roman Reigns, and for whatever reason, these guys never, like, they broke through, but there was always a higher level for them. They were your stars, but
I mean, even at the level they broke through at, like, they're still all-time
greats.
They're still
right?
all-time, no doubt about it. Like, you got to talk, if you're going to talk about this last decade of WWE wrestling, they're in the first paragraph.
Right. And, you know, Punk's been gone so long. There are a lot of people that don't remember, CM Punk or have, like, negative feelings on him and don't really see what the hype was about.
Yeah.
I just had to tell you, like Punk was the reason I stayed watching wrestling after The Rock came back. And it was like, this guy was the anchor of the show. Like, no matter if the show was trash, his promo segment would be fucking incredible, or his match would be awesome, like, every week for like 2 years. Like, so he may, like, you know, in a historical sense, like, he may be like a very time and place kind of act, because when you view everything that he quote unquote was fighting for and all that, like, some stuff changed, but like the WWE largely kind of, you know, operated like the pipe bomb was prophecy in a lot of senses. Like, your millionaire should be a billionaire. You're gonna make money despite yourself. I'm a spoke on the wheel. People are gonna keep pouring money into this fucking company. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it was like he gave us the fucking Bible verse right there, like, of like what was to come. And the craziest thing is, like, when you remove that, it almost looks as goofy as like the Montreal screw job, and like the concept of that, like, people being like, I don't fucking get it. Like, like, if you remove it from the time and place, it might not hit as well, but trust it, like, in that time, it felt like CM Punk was literally fighting the machine.
I never thought of it that way, mostly because, like, you know, that context is baked into, you know, what we know, right? Like, the same way that you talk about the Montreal Screwjob, like, you know, I think it was, I think Meltzer was on Talking to Jericho going on Montreal Screwjob a few years ago, and he talked about how, like, that shit, just like you mentioned, like, that shit is time and place, and for the context for it, it makes sense. And then Jericho was like, yeah, man, like, that shit happened now. If somebody was like, I'm not, whatever, he'd be like, what are you complaining about? Just let's let him pin you. So, yeah, you're right. Because, like, now so many of the guys that would have gotten a sniff from WWE are now stars in the company. You know, from Kevin Owens to, hell, Matt Riddle blooming as a star. Like, that would not have Drew McIntyre, like, once they had fired him, they wouldn't have brought him back. Because he got better on the indies, they wouldn't have given a fuck.
Right.
Like, if that's the case, like, they would have brought Chris Masters back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Chris Masters, but you get my point. Like, there were guys that had bodies and physiques and all that kind of stuff that, like, once Vince fired them, they never brought them the fuck back ever.
Tyler Rex, Alex Riley,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and obviously he's better than all them dudes, but you get my point.
Yeah. I had a tweet that kind of took off that was pretty funny over the weekend. It happens to be this guy's birthday today. So happy birthday to the game. It's also Hangman Page's birthday. He turned 30 today.
How old's Triple H now?
Triple H is 52, I believe. So with that being said, I have a thesis that I put on Twitter, and I'm just going to say it. Some of y'all may agree. Some of you may not like it. You may find it disrespectful. You may think, this is actually genius, like a lot of people actually said on Twitter. But Triple H was a deathmatch wrestler, and he didn't even know it. All of his best matches, when you look at it, tend to have some type of stipulation, no rules, hardcore matches, tacks, sledgehammers, chairs.
3 stages of hell. Yeah.
Yes. Hell, cage matches.
Yep.
This man was accidentally a great deathmatch wrestler. And while he fashioned himself as the second
Harley Race
and shit like that, and this classic worker, and, you know, this ring general, you know, at the time, and for 6'4", 260-pound guy, he was good. But
very good. Like for his dimensions, there ain't too many people that were like that have a number of great like regular rules matches than him. But you're absolutely right about the part where like even so, his best match when it was like no rules and you could hit people with shit.
Yep. I looked his 3 of his top 34 singles matches, or 3 of his top 34 matches in his career were singles matches, were regular rules, like only 3 of them, and they were way down the list.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it, I think I was talking to someone. It may have been about the Triple H and Daniel Bryan match. Someone that said they were throwing it on and watching. I was like, that might be Triple H's best match. And I looked at it.
Singles match, you mean? Singles match?
Yeah. I was like, besides that, you got him and Dean Ambrose at Roadblock.
Yep, that's way up there.
But you have like...
There's no Angle thing up there this way high?
I think there might be a Kurt Angle match. And then, like, people, I believe it was...
But then again, like, his best match with Angle is still that triple threat match with The Rock involved.
Right, which is essentially a death match.
Yeah, there's no rules. And then, like, you know, like, Angle's concussed as fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing about Triple H, the WrestleMania 17 match with The Undertaker.
Right.
Like, I also consider that a death match.
It was. The ref was out. They went up a ramp, and then he chokeslammed him through off the platform into a crash pad. Yes.
Ref went down. Didn't pop up till about 15 minutes later.
It was like 15 minutes. The ref was out. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all can look it up. You can debate me if you want. But I got lots of matches I can pull up for reference that they were all better with weapons for him.
Yeah. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah. Like, I thought I never thought about it, but I thought we all kind of knew that, though. Like, I thought it was like I thought it was what is it called? Just an unsaid understanding. Like, the dude surrounds with a fucking sledgehammer.
Remember the match he did with Batista a couple years ago? Like,
Right.
they was using pliers and shit.
Right.
Like,
pull out nose rings, mutilation porn.
This man thought he was Ric Flair, but he might have been Terry Funk.
That's funny as fuck.
But
oh man,
yeah, man.
Also, think about all these takeover feuds.
No rules.
First match.
Made in his image.
Blood feud, first match, no rules.
Yep. Take it to the lot. Take it to the parking lot. Take it to the outside of the ring.
Always.
You know?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. Karrion Kross and Keith Lee had interesting weeks.
All right. I forgot about that. Well, I mean, I think we talked about it. Or maybe we didn't talk about the loss that Karrion Kross had to Jeff Hardy during the show, but we were talking about Kross showing up on Raw, at least. I know that much from last week. Right.
He obviously lost a match in about 90 seconds to Jeff Hardy last week. This led to Hardy chants at NXT when Kross was there.
They got cut.
Yep. I found it strange, and I shouldn't at this point because we both know what it is. But the amount of people that were celebrating that Karrion Kross, like this was some indictment on him, like that this happened to him. I'm like, this is malpractice. This is bad booking. This is like a person that is walking out with a belt on.
Well,
like,
yeah, like this is something that's like, I don't like him either.
Right.
But I can't.
These people have put me in the position to, like, a man who I have called luggage on this air, right? He's luggage in NXT, but he's going to the McDonald's of wrestling now. It doesn't matter that he's he's more than good enough.
Right.
To hang in that, style or whatever.
Like, you mean to tell me you'd rather watch Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre than Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre? You out your fucking mind? Like, I can't even, because it's so fundamentally stupid, I can't even enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, what? It's similar when they screw up somebody that they've been pushed forever, like when they do something, when they were doing something stupid with like Carmella or Alexa Bliss, and it's like, wait, you're doing, then what was the point? Why do you waste all my fucking time? And like, I don't necessarily, doesn't bother me as far as like, well, he lost on the main roster, so now his shine is off NXT. It doesn't bother me. Like, they're effectively two separate universes, right? Like, look at how they're presented in NXT. Look how they're presented on the main roster. Look at how they're presented on the main roster. Look what happens when they're ported into NXT. Totally different, right? Like, the book, like, this has always been that case when everybody goes back and forth, right? So it's like, it doesn't really bother me, but for people that it bothers, I understand. And it's just, and for that reason,
why couldn't Triple H get
stupid.
It's like, why couldn't Triple H get the NXT champion protected from that? Like, what does that say about his standing at this point?
I don't know. I mean, he couldn't protect Rhea, right?
Yeah, she's sinking fast. But Keith Lee also had an interesting week. They re-debut him in his near hometown in Texas after being gone for 7 months.
And he lost to Lashley, right?
In minutes. It was like less than 5 minutes or something to set up Goldberg confronting Lashley. So get your ass in here, do this job. We ain't seen you. We ain't heard nothing. Like, you just pop back up.
And then what happened yesterday?
Yes, in combination. Then, since Jeff Hardy came down with the thing,
COVID.
Apparently Jeff Hardy was supposed to go over Karrion Kross again. And, people broke out in all the discourse last week defending it, doing back bends, bending over.
It's a story. It'll make it intriguing. Yeah. They're going to do it now, do it again. Oh, well, that's stupid. They're doing it the first time was stupid, too.
You already know the line I'm going to say. They're bending over so far backward, they coming out on the other side, to lick the boot. That's what these folks do. But Keith Lee, they see him as even lower than Cross because they were like, fuck it, you're going to go ahead and lose the Cross now in minutes. And I don't like, we saw this as an NXT TakeOver main event last year, weren't particularly thrilled with it, if I remember right.
It was one of the worst TakeOver main events ever. Maybe the worst.
But like, these dudes were just thrown out there like guys. They're not assets. They're just dudes here working. Like, and I don't feel confident about either of them. Keith Lee still on Twitter being all cryptic and everything like that, but who knows what that is? Could be an angle, but it sure don't look like it. Like it. Look, like everybody's treating it damn near like a level under like a Kylie Ray thing where you can't ask anything about it and stuff like that. I'm like,
I mean, if he tells, if he doesn't, he doesn't. Like, I mean, maybe from that perspective, I'm treating it like the Kylie Ray thing where it's like, look, man, like, he's off TV. If he wants to explain himself, he will. If he doesn't, he won't. And like, I'm not finna hold my breath waiting for him to explain this or whatever. Cause it's like, he's off TV. And he's back now. And they're jobbing him out. And he was losing when he was losing more than he should have been when he was around. So, I don't know what to do with that.
And what I'm hearing is like they're having Corey Graves do that thing where they slip in the comments to bury him to show you what they're really thinking about him.
Yeah. Like when he's talking about Sami Zayn's physique after like he had the shoulder stuff, so he couldn't lift weights.
Right. So yeah, those two guys hope they have better weeks to come. But it don't look good. WWE was at Rolling Loud this week.
Hold on real quick. Before we transition that. And because of that, that doesn't mean that like Triple H is bad at hiring and cultivating talent because Vince McMahon doesn't know what the fuck to do with said talent. Like, that'd be absurd. That would be like if some NFL team drafted a bunch of Alabama players and then like they all busted out. It's like, so does Saban have to give back them national championships or like that's not how this works. Like you and your organization are responsible for once you take them away from the campus.
Right.
And instead of Tuscaloosa, we're now talking about the PC. So like in any other situation, if you had that kind of talent perform that kind of way in the minors, and then they made it to the majors, and they didn't perform that way, normally people that are making these decisions for hiring and bringing up personnel will be fired. But this person not being fired because they own the company.
Correct. But Rolling Loud, WWE went out there.
One more thing. Also, what percentage of the WWE main roster is from the PC? Like 90%? 95%?
A lot of it.
So everybody
at this point.
So at this point, you're picking and choosing. Like, so, because outside of like AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, what are we talking about here? Everybody Seth was
when
a
you put it
champion.
like that.
Seth was a champion, right? Was the first NXT champion. Big E, New Day, Big E, second NXT champion. Roman Reigns was at FCW with Dusty and them. Moxley, Shield, yeah. The Horsewoman, yeah. Asuka, yeah. Kevin Owens, yeah. Drew McIntyre, yeah. Pac, yeah. Like, so I guess we got Bobby Lashley list of like not PC. So like that's 3 out of like the entire fucking roster.
Yeah.
So like, how bad is Triple H doing the job when like everybody that's succeeding except for 3 people is people that he brought to you, and then the other half, or more than the other half, like the other, you're fucking up. But he was successful with them when he had them, and then when he even get them back, he's more successful with them than you had them. I mean, when you have them, like, how's this Triple H's fault? I'm confused.
Funny to your boy.
He's a deathmatch wrestler. Like,
yeah, that's it.
As far as being a bad cultivator of talent or bad eye for talent, nah. He's been a good eye for talent for like his entire life. That's how his life turned out this way.
I was gonna say, that man short. That look, you know how they say shit like the NBA groupie see dudes coming a mile away.
Oh, God.
like Triple H saw Shawn Michaels coming before he did. Like
Shawn Michaels. Look, Triple H had a pocket full of money at the time. Was a road travel person. Had a great physique. Obviously smart wrestling wise. I'm sure he could have done well with a bunch of different women in life. He ended up with the boss's daughter. Like, I think we know somebody that can scout. That can
superior
scout.
scouting.
I'm sorry. I just think we do.
That's funny. So I'll try again. So WWE was at Rolling Loud this week, crossing over to a hip hop festival, a younger demographic. I won't go as far as to say like a predominantly black crowd, because you know how festivals are.
Oh yeah,
those tickets are expensive. You're probably young white kids out there.
Probably there are, definitely.
So, just I'll term it in youth. Like, so they sent
Bianca, Street Profits,
Gable
and Otis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like they did 2 matches.
Carmella.
They did 2 matches out there, and when you go on a Rolling Loud, and I got friends that work closely with Rolling Loud and stuff like that, and actually are on the board for Rolling Loud. So like dude that is on the board of Rolling Loud paid me for a show like a couple years ago. So shout out to him. But like when explaining it to the wrestling audience, like when you paid that money for those tickets, this wasn't something that they paid for. Like, so this was like kind of added on. I want to say maybe like a month out, they made the announcement. These tickets are well sold in advance. This is something, people been in the house. They finally getting out a little bit. And I'm sure Delta variant is going to do its thing.
It was outside, so hopefully not as bad as it could be. But yeah, I get you.
But people were wondering why like the crowd wasn't reacting and stuff like that. I think WWE kind of went in there with they went in with a bad plan. Like as far as like getting the reactions and stuff like that. Like nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
They sent like I think they're gonna need to do more than quote unquote send the blacks.
Oh
to the hip hop festival. They had Wale with the Street Profits out there, so they've been seen before. But mind you, like, these people have no idea who the Street Profits are. They have no idea who Bianca Belair is. They have no idea who anyone is, really.
And not even and yes, that's a part of it, but also it's like, that's not what they're there for.
Right.
So, like, it was already fighting uphill battle anyway. So,
I appreciate the effort. Like, I think you have to, like, kind of salute them for that. But then you got to think about, like, hey, how I compared it to, it was like the Indians just didn't want to see Jinder Mahal. Like, if you think that's your in, whatever, if you think the black people are your in, like the black wrestlers are your in to this audience, maybe they're not. Maybe you just need the stars. I don't know.
You might need to send, like, the big dog in John Cena in. Maybe. Just maybe.
Right. And, they did the whole deal. Like, the visual looked cool. I saw a couple clips. They had the stage, like the whole crowd's like behind them, and the ring's on the stage, stuff like that. So, you could probably argue the layouts for the matches probably weren't the best. If it's me, I'm doing a wild 6-man lucha libre match and have people being like, people that are quote unquote high out their mind in the crowds, they see people flying around, it might like impress them or something like that. But they got people sitting in chin locks and doing the quote unquote real style of wrestling, and all this. I'm just like, I don't know. And it comes down to, how do you introduce a non-wrestling fan to wrestling? Like me, I would always go with lucha libre personally because it looks impressive.
I mean, or you could just, you can just tune in and to the Marvelous 5th year anniversary and watch a match with a bunch of teenagers running around, and like that would have been more than enough to get them excited because they were flying around. I don't know why they thought like them wrestling their style was going to work in a group full of young people that were like, oh, you're in a rest hold. I don't even watch wrestling. Okay, I'm just going to grab this computer that's in my hand and just scroll and thumb around. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
Where is Kodak Black? Like, where is Lil Baby at?
Where are either of the babies?
Yeah, oh, that guy, Jesus, he's had a day. Which one of y'all threw that messed up Adidas? Yeah.
Can you imagine being, I think at this point this year was the most streamed rap artist in the world on Spotify. Can you imagine after you climb to that by doing a few songs with Megan Thee Stallion, 2 or 3, that you then after all this decide to do a song with freaking
several songs,
and then proceed to bring him on stage at Rolling Loud.
And then you decide to openly become a homophobe.
How does that help you sell records when you decide to alienate one of the biggest artists in your genre of music for someone that is literally dime a dozen as far as help your reach to, expand? Explain that to me.
It's not smart. And then
like, you are the gangster girl rapper, and you want to alienate a bunch of black women because of that. Like, that's hustling backwards. That's fundamentally stupid.
And then you go like extra homophobic at the same time. Like,
yeah, that too.
Which it's just like, no, like that's not gonna fly, sir. Like, and then hearing T.I. come out is just like, bro, like
he literally both sized it. He tried to both size homophobia.
This is not Mr. Harris, Tip, T.I., Clifford, whatever you want to call yourself these days, 40-year-old man with the little dreads. This is not a both sides issue. It will never, if it never will be. If we substituted black for gay, you would never say anything like this. So what are you saying?
Right.
Sorry. Like, it's,
like, but the thing is, like, we listen enough T.I. to know how
we know what time it is.
We know he's a misogynist.
Yeah, we know what time it is.
Yeah. Like, if I were him, I wouldn't even be on social media, considering that,
he might have an open case coming up.
Right. He's facing a lot of sexual abuse allegations. So I would be staying low.
Yeah. Thunder Rosa officially signed to AEW. Long time coming. Everybody's thought her NWA deal was up the beginning of next year, but they found out a way to get her out of it early. She's been, when you talk about someone who's saved the division, the turnaround kind of like if I'm looking for like four pillars like of the AEW women's division, she's one of them. Like I don't know the four. Like, I mean, you're talking about Sheeta. Oh yeah, Sheeta, Riho, Britt, and Thunder. Like those are the four pillars, right? Like, she's one of them.
I was looking at my phone because Caleb had sent me something about I guess Dakota Kai won a match or something. So I was looking at that and I was like, yeah. Like, she's going to be like a title challenger for Raquel eventually, and then, like, she's going to lose, and one is going to turn on each other in the process. Like, you're American with American professional. You're familiar with American professional wrestling, right? Like,
no, she turned on her tonight.
Okay, well, there you go. But okay, so cool. But it's like, yeah, like we saw this come from a mile away. We saw this coming, like when she decided to start hanging out with her, like here at what was that? It was actually at Portland. So it's like, yeah, like that's called professional wrestling, American professional wrestling. So I don't even. All I know is his text message. So I was looking at, but I'm looking at you, but when you. So I missed out on your four pillars joke, but that's hilarious. I never even thought about it that way.
Yeah, so the four pillars of AEW women's wrestling, like one of them is locked in now. This is someone that I would consider like casting a U.S. women's MVP vote for when you start much in the Giannis situation, like everything they stand for. She runs her own promotion, like she's a booker, she's a promoter, she's a great wrestler in multiple companies and against people with varying experience levels. Think of
where she was when we first were watching her in 2015. She's one of the most improved wrestlers of the last half decade of wrestling.
Yes. Rapidly vaulted up my favorite wrestlers list in like this last year. Very happy for her. She had a birthday too this past week. So I think they announced it on her birthday. So I'm not sure about that, but she's looked like she's positioned in the ranks. So eventually they're going to run her and Britt back. That's like, if it's me, I'm gonna have them trade that shit back and forth now. Like Charlotte, Sasha, this shit. Like, let them two.
No, the match is sure. Have a storyline, please. Please have a story. Like that is the one thing about Sasha and Charlotte in 2016 was like they wrestled so well that like they completely like overshadowed the fact that there was no good storyline beats for them. But yeah, like sure, why not that plus story? Yes.
Well, and I feel like they've got elements that Charlotte and Sasha either didn't have or they didn't do well. Like when Sasha's in Boston losing the belt and shit, like to Charlotte. Like they've got Britsburg coming up.
Britsburg too.
Yeah, and the first episode of Rampage. A lot of people think that could be something.
Quick question: are they actually calling Britsburg too, or no?
I know she's being promoted as like the face of this show, like everywhere. I'm not sure of the Britsburg. I don't know if they're using that, but they did drop new merch, Britsburg merch for her.
Okay, well the reason why I'm asking is because Steelers, like the '90s Cowher teams, they were called Blitzburg because of 3-4 defense and sending like Kevin Green down to kill people, right? And then like in the early 2000s, when they had Joey Porter, for example, like when they were really good, they'd end up losing in the AFC Championship game to the Patriots, but with Drew Bledsoe, but like in that game, but like that was called Blitzburg 2. So it was like keep in touch with like the traditions of.
Okay.
It's something that was like, but then again, at that time, Jacksonville was a rival. I don't know if they owned the team. I don't think they owned the team back then, but like Jacksonville and the Steelers were a rival. Maybe they don't, whatever. We're just doing this cause like whatever. But it would be cool if they did like, because as they keep going, like KO Mania, all the KO Manias, you keep doing Britsburgs. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. I think and they've shown that they have like a bunch of like hot Texas areas, like essentially with AEW. Like, I think you got to build. Like, I would love for them to build this feud around Texas versus Britsburg. So the matches they do, are in each other's like, hometown or whatever, because Thunder is getting monster reactions on like Elevation, like from the different Texas areas. And we know Brits reactions are going to be nuts in Britsburg or whatever. But yeah, happy for Thunder Rosa for sure. As far as AEW this week, not as good as the first show of the first Fyter Fest. This was week 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Next week's Fight for the Fallen. We got some hot angles though. The introduction of Nick Gage in there with Jericho next week. That's going to be something. They did a road to where Gage was on there. Dropped today. It was pretty good. Jericho and Spears didn't suck by any stretch of the imagination. So
yeah, it was fun by the end. Yeah.
They, I think Shawn Spears is probably one of the most maligned wrestlers for his level of push that I've ever seen. He's solid. They had a big title change in the main event. Lance Archer in Texas. The new streak, Lance Archer in Dallas. That's the new Undertaker streak. That man has put down Will Ospreay. That man has now put down Jon Moxley there. Like, who's going to beat Archer in Dallas? Like, let's see it. Like, that could be a money-making thing, I think, should they keep committing to this. And we're just seeing the blossoming New Japan and AEW relationship. Excalibur spoke about that and used it pretty much in those terms in the road to seeing the IWGP US title switching hands on Dynamite and shit, and then they're sending Hikuleo out there who's hanging out, jumps in and he goes face to face with Archer.
I forgot he was that fucking tall.
Bro, he's fucking huge.
I forgot.
Like he's looking down. He can look over Lance Archer. Like the match with him and Moxley, I like this better than the Wrestle Kingdom match. This was just like, it was so hot. It was so hot.
I think that they're comparable. I think they're close, but I end up giving the edge to the first match because, like, if watching that match, it felt like they were rushed for time, and the way they no-sold or shook off some of the stuff they did in that match, it felt like they were cut on time or were rushed for time and they needed like 5 more minutes to make it all impact, and maybe they would have had a better match. But like, I need some time, I need some separation of time from someone getting Pillmanized being able to get back up and keep fighting, or someone getting literally chokeslammed on the spine of a chair, of an open folding chair, and get right back up for me to be like, all right, bro, like, y'all, like, I need y'all to sell a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Like, give me like 15 seconds on that. Don't just get right the fuck back up. And they keep, like, they did that tough match, and they treat that shit like it was a wrestler versus a 9. I was like, God damn. Like, y'all kill each other. Why are y'all getting up so fast? Sell! This shit don't hurt. It hurts me. I'm watching it.
Yeah, but Lance
it was
Archer,
fantastic.
Biggest win of his career defining win, career defining moment in his hometown. Man, they just keep doing these things like that makes sense. Yeah, not beating people in their hometowns. In the text group, I had thought that there was a possibility Archer could win here because of that. And knowing Lance Archer was on Twitter a month and a half back, talking about he's so proud to work for AEW, and this is right after those dates were announced for Dallas, and I was like, so there could be something in the works here. And watching the Forbidden Door interview that Tony Khan put out about Nick Khan back this week looks fucking amazing in hindsight. Everything that's been set up with the Jay White and Impact stuff, going against the Elite, and the plans with the IWGP US title, which he said that he had in that video where they've set up, they just didn't do, hey, we're going to switch the belt randomly. They've established the equity, like, hey, we're going to have Jon Moxley and Yuji Nagata. We're going to have Carl Anderson and Jon Moxley. We're going to give him wins, and then he's going to drop in. It's going to mean something. This is really great. Like, it's really great. One thing that was not really great, the women's title match. I think they just missed. Like, they just missed, and I think they'd be better against other people. Like, but the crowd like went insane for this match.
Yeah, because Britt's super over. It was Britt's overness that saved this match more than anything else. Like, if that, like,
part of me that wonders if she's wandering into that Alexa Bliss territory, but like Alexa Bliss never got reactions like this.
Explain what you mean. Elaborate on that for me.
So, like, when Alexa's matches, we'd be like, "Yo, the matches aren't really going off," but y'all say like she's this great promo and stuff like that. But I would say
Britt's a way better promo than Alexa. Has been given the scripts to do. Yeah, I think she's a great deliverer of words, but like as far as cutting actual great promos, like Britt has them and Alexa really doesn't. She I think if she was able to talk for herself, she would have. I think she would be a great promo, like a consistently great promo.
But Britt, the only thing that gives me reservations on that is I've seen Britt step up in class. Like, hey, like I'm gonna fight somebody with way more experience and not look lost. Maybe she's not a leader of matches at this point.
She isn't.
So that's maybe like where they went wrong. They were very ambitious in this match, but like when you talk about timing and shit getting fucked up and like there was a lot that went wrong.
I don't think there was that much that went wrong as much as it was like there was just a lack of oomph. Like they wrestled as if they were like in walkthrough as opposed to like actually trying to take each other's heads off, or not take each other's heads, but like hit each other hard. Like you can see like, and Britt has this thing, and it's always bothered me because it's I don't want to say it's exactly like Julia's thing, but it's like. They have this weird thing with their selling to where it's like, I'm down and my head is slumped, so therefore I'm selling, as opposed to like, can I see some anguish or agony or pain or like a loss of or fogginess on your face? So like that's also a thing that kind of bothers me. Like with Julia is like, when Julia actually gets hit hard, like you will see her instead of just sell like it hurts, like or whatever, she'll go into like, her face will make a face like, damn, that shit hurt. Then she'll get up. But like Britt is kind of like, just like, I'll just sit here with my head tucked down and not make a face, and then like I'll get ran into or whatever else. But like I think mostly it came down to just like they just, as far as you know, the nuts and bolts of it just was not crisp. In like it was throughout the whole entire match. I thought the layout of the match was very good. But like the execution overall just did not hold up to the match. I thought the layout was really good though. As far as like if I were to write out on paper what was done and say these are twists and turns, this is what was done to get to here or whatever else, and this is the finish. Like I was like, yeah, it's a well laid out match, but it just didn't work. It didn't work out. And it reminded me a lot of like those pay-per-view matches for the women's division WWE pre-Horsewomen showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like. Yeah, they had some, like, it's short. Obviously, they got more time, but I mean, like, you got X amount of time, and this is how we're going to do it, and then, like, you go out there, and it's like, oh. I mean, I like the layout, I like the story. I didn't like the execution all that much.
Right. I think Britt will end up getting positioned with someone that makes a little bit more sense for her, because she's in this weird mode where she's way the fuck over. She's still a heel, but she's a de facto babyface against Nyla. And the second she goes in there with like Thunder Rosa or Ty Conti or something, she can slide back into being a heel. And also, it'll probably make more sense.
Also, given how she's gotten herself over, like she might just be a deathmatch wrestler.
Who knows? Who else we got on her? What else can I think of? More Hangman and Kenny stuff. We're a week closer to that elimination tag. They did a big run in after the Frankie and Gallows match. God bless them. Even Frankie and Gallows, they didn't. That was an angle. I believe someone said it was this was AEW Dark Elevation on Dynamite. I think it was on Floyd's show. But they spun that into the elite angle, which continues to get monster reactions.
What was the line that Kenny Omega said where he did it again? where it's like he says something that he knows is just makes it
he when he leaned into Don Callis and was like, I forgot what he said. He's like, you turn from the hunter to the hold on, let me check with Mr. Callis. To the hunted.
Yes,
like,
that's what it was. And I was just like, why is this man in the last 2 weeks? And this only just like he started doing this like the last 2 episodes where like all of a sudden like he's like a Ben Stiller villain in a 90s early 2000s movie where he's like he's a bad guy and he's also going to play like he's a fucking moron to like then make you be like you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. And I was like why did he decide to do this? Why?
Probably fucking around. There was a bit on BT this week where is this funny thing like why he keeps having the facial hair like every time he's about to like cut the shit off like there's like a fake Jim Ross that are like is like hey man your music's hitting like you gotta get out there like you know we're live pal like and he's about to shave like the Harley Race joint off and he's running around like come on Don like you know I can't cut promos for myself I can't cut promos you have to talk for me or whatever this shit is fucking hilarious like he's the best like.
And the thing about it is like, what made me think of the Ben Stiller thing was because of like, you look at that off face hair and it makes you think of like Ben Stiller and Dodgeball. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why? Who gave you notes to say that you need to do this to your facial hair for this movie or this program to happen? Like, just so extra. And it's just like, I know it's heat. I know the purpose of it is heat, obviously, but it's like, I think we're past the point of like cutting stupid stuff into our heads to get heat. Like leave that shit to the Road Warriors or Demolition or whatever the fuck.
Like we don't hate you, Kenny. Like sorry, like you know
we know what you're doing, man.
Well, excuse me. There are some that
that
do hate him.
Like for Daniel Bryan to get hated and CM Punk to get hated, that man like literally like fake dumped Paul Bear's ashes on Undertaker. Daniel Bryan said he wants to stop fucking global warming and it wants to be a vegan. This man is out here cutting bullshit into his head.
Bro.
Like what?
Bro, I was in hearing all this CM Punk stuff this week. Found myself watching some of his old segments, and then I was thinking about when he turned heel, like that man started getting that bad fade, like
yeah,
so he cut all the hair off, but like there's clearly a line you can see, like it was like they didn't finish the haircut or whatever.
Do you remember this? I think it was 2013 Slammies, no 2012 Slammies, and
a long time ago.
Like he interrupts, like Flair is there to present like I think it's like Superstar of the Year. And like Cena wins and he comes out with Heyman and he's like just loses his fucking mind and like the promo's incredible because I watched it like a couple years ago back and I was like god damn I forgot how good he was as a promo. And then like he's talking with Flair and he's like you know what they say about you, you know what Flair, I remember a few years ago I used to be in the locker room with Sean. He used to talk about when I grow up I want to be like Ric Flair. I look at you and I would never want to be you. And he just kept going. And Flair's like, hey bro, like I think he's like, hey man, like the diamonds in this Rolex say that it's like it's X o'clock, and you know it's time to get cracking in not Minneapolis, I think it's Milwaukee, and then like they keep going, and then all of a sudden I think they go to commercial break after Flair says you need to come. I want a one-on-one in the ring, and then come after commercial break, and this is after like that Ryback match where he had a fucked up knee, so he's crushing himself down to the ring, CM Punk with Heyman, and all of a sudden he gets to the ring and he ends up jabbing Flair with the crush, and then like Flair bends over and he breaks a fucking He breaks a fucking crutch over Ric Flair's back. It's 2013. I'm like, god damn, like I'm sorry we just derailed this talking about CM Punk again.
Bro,
like,
but he was so fucking great.
Yes. Like, yeah, and the thing was also fucking hilarious because like the way that crush buckled around Flair's whole carcass is like, god damn, like what Flair? Why are you still doing this stuff?
A check. Ric Flair was thinking about a check.
Oh man. All right, so where are we?
That's it, man. I don't know anything else to say about AEW this week. The Blade did some crazy ass move to Orange Cassidy. It was like a gut wrench powerbomb on the fucking top rope. I was like jaw dropped in amazement at that move.
I don't even remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It might have been in picture.
How do I not remember that?
There's definitely a GIF going around. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But it's like a gut wrench power bomb on the fucking top turnbuckle, and like Blade jumps to the outside of the ring. Like, it's crazy.
Huh. Okay. Oh man. So where are we now?
I'm gonna throw this in. This isn't on the sheet. What do you think about this Vince McMahon docuseries that's apparently gonna start?
Oh, we're basically doing like the people versus O.J. Simpson for like I guess it's like Vince McMahon versus the U.S. government versus Vince McMahon for the story trial in '92.
Yes.
And like Kevin Dunn and Vince's hands are on it, right?
Yes.
It's gonna be some cap shit. Like, whatever.
Bro, I like, can you think about all the things like Dave was actually telling the story behind it on Observer Radio, and they were trying to figure out the things that won't be in the show.
I mean, but obviously they're not going to talk about how Vince McMahon was getting supplied steroids and he was sharing them with Hogan.
Yeah,
I'm sure is that what Meltzer said?
Yeah, that was one thing. He was like, I'm pretty sure the Warrior testimony where he says 90% of the wrestlers on steroids won't be in the show.
Was it 90? I remember he said like over. I know he said over 50, but I can't remember the rest of it. It was so long ago when I looked up that stuff.
I'm not as familiar with the details of the story.
Same here.
So like that's a little bit like, I don't want to say before my time, but I've never really studied that. And I'll do shit like watch 1993 Raw and shit, but yeah, I've never really studied the steroid trial.
Yeah, I just knew the gist of it, never got into nuts and bolts of it. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, so I mean, is Dark Side of the Ring ever going to do that?
I feel like they are. I think
they should.
I think they are doing it.
Okay, well,
so this might be like a response to that. So we'll get both sides on it.
Well, I mean, either way, as they go over this stuff, like you'll have Salamonster and Alvarez and Meltzer like go over like observers
Bix.
And notes and Bix. Yeah, go over like this stuff from back then too. Like so. Like, whatever, that'll be whatever WWE, whatever like WEI's version of them, being choir boys or whatever else, like they'll show the reporting back then and that's all cap shit. Like Vince was on that shit and we all know Vince was on that shit. Like, and he was sharing that shit with Hogan.
They, I imagine the series ends with Stephanie McMahon just after 9/11 saying,
God damn it.
This was an assault on my family. Or whatever the fuck she said.
Yeah, it's like, there's like, yeah. He said, try to tear our family apart and they came back stronger and we'll do it in the USA. It'll be just like that. And it's like, I forgot how old Stephanie was at the time. She was in her, she was in like her mid-20s, right?
Probably early 20s.
Yeah, so, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Always fun to remember that one.
Yeah,
whenever I see that video come across timeline, I make sure I watch it.
I mean, think about it. Back in '92, do you think Stephanie knew the details of what was going on in that courtroom when they were sharing all that? Like, come on, of course, of course, from her perspective, like she thinks it was a witch hunt for her dad. Of course, I don't blame her. But I would say like, even if I thought that or whatever else, and I was in a situation, I would put my child on her to say no kind of shit like that, following a 9/11 tribute show. But whatever, Vince, we as well established, Vince rocks differently than I do.
Look,
and Stephanie rocks differently than I do.
Look, the storyline is that Stephanie was getting sent to business meetings by Vince while she may or may not have been 18 years old already. In storyline.
Oh God!
Like this was what was written. Yeah. like Nas, it was written. Like this is what was written. So I can only go with that.
Yeah, this wild stuff, man.
This is Mission Control. The tallest, fastest, and longest steel coaster in Kings Island needs you. Must be able to handle a 300-foot drop and speeds up to 91 miles per hour while dodging meteors. No training required. Are you up for the challenge?
Introducing Orion at Kings Island, one of only 7 giga-coasters in the world.
Right now, everyone pays Kids Price. Kings Island tickets just $45 online.
NXT lowlights.
Lowlights. Okay, so they did let me pull up these notes real quick. Just give me a second for lowlights. I'm just gonna go to the cage match and pull up the matches. There were 2 good matches on the show. But the rest was just like all in, just ugh. The main, okay, so lowlights. First lowlight, the main event, NXT Women's Title match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Xia Li. They were trying to tell a story of obviously big versus little, and obviously trying to the story is to try to get Xia over as look at where she's progressed. And obviously, because, she hasn't lost since the Tien Shaw stuff started popping off. Match was not good enough to be in the main event of an NXT show, unfortunately. Yeah, but them's the bricks, right? So I am pulling up. Oh, that's NXT UK Women's Title. I'm looking for the NXT Women's Title. UK. Oh, there we go. But yeah, and then the match ends up ending where Raquel does a twisting Vader bomb, and as she does a twisting Vader bomb, Xia is, instead of flat on the canvas, she is twisted to the side, almost if somebody's gonna land short. So if someone's landing short, you are, turning sideways to kind of catch the impact that way. But she landed flush, and as she hit her, as she landed, Raquel's back basically lands on kind of hits Xia in the ribs where her arms should have been in theory, and she just you can see something was wrong immediately. It looked like when I watched it, I was like, did she break her ribs? Because the way that that was close to the match finish, the way they were building the match, and then the ref, she's talking to the ref. She leaned over. The ref is telling Raquel to go to the opposite corner to buy time. And they showed the replay of what happened. They talk about how brutal it looked. And then by the time they come back from the replay, you can see the actual trainers by the ringside. So they're debating on what to do. And then next thing you know, she gets up, and she gets up just so Raquel can hit her finish. That I think she calls it the Chicano bomb, where she, that choke power slam thing she does. Or sorry, choke power bomb thing that she does. And when she does that, you just see Xia she wanted to die. She was in so much pain. I was like, and that was the finish. I'm like, if that was the finish, just award the match as a ref stoppage, TKO and have Raquel win. Why would you put somebody through just to get hit with a move that's going to make it be in more pain? You don't know if she broke her ribs or not.
Yeah. It looks like, I saw the clip. When you take those splashes, you have to stiffen up and straighten out your arms. Basically, think about it. If you are listening to this show, put your arms down directly in front of you, ball them up in a fist.
Right.
And you have to kind of get your arms to take the blow rather than your stomach.
Because your arms are there to protect your ribs and your vital organs in case, right. Finn Balor or Azumi or somebody double foot stomps you and would in theory break your ribs if they were unprotected with weight coming down to you or a splash or whatever. Yeah. We've seen, and it was just I don't get why that was done. So that was weird. That was a low light. Another low light, the breakout tournament match that they had. This breakout tournament thing is just filler. Last week it was Ike Manjiro versus I forgot his name now. Duke something. Duke Hudson, who was the former
Brendan Vink.
Brendan Vink. And I see Ikeman out there, and Ikeman's clearly good, and Vink is Vink. He's the same guy you saw last year with Shane Thorne, except with a way better physique now and a beard. So this match, they have Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones is 6'5", 400 pounds. Looks like I think they said he used to be a guard for a college team. I didn't recall the team. Charismatic dude. I think you've seen him before. You remember a guy that was in that was dressing like Nation Domination Mark Henry?
Yeah, I know what he looks like.
Yeah, that's Odyssey Jones. So, charismatic dude, comes out, likable guy, crowds behind him immediately. I think that has to do with like the fact that he was in there with a dude named Andre Chase. Andre Chase came out there with some horrible gear and got some of the most genericest of NXT music, which is saying something because a lot of their music ever since CFO left sounds generic. So
man came out there to that demo music, like,
basically
that menu screen music.
Yeah, bro, you got to see his gear. He looks like a jag. That Andre Chase dude, like a complete jag. So then I was like, they mentioned that he wrestled in Japan and wrestled around the world. I pulled up this cage match. I'm like, oh, okay. He's not necessarily a PC guy, but like he ain't exactly some indie darling either. So, like, no disrespect to him, but it's like, okay, I see how they doing him. And then they bring Odyssey Jones. He got the music. It's got some good sounding music. He comes out super charismatic, hyped up, like, and he comes out, he got a swagger to him, right? Crowd likes him, and bell rings, and pardon me, match isn't good, and the match was short. It's like 3 minutes and 20 seconds, but it's like, you see the stuff they're doing, and it's like, all right, so it's like they're treating him like he's like what they want Keith Lee to do, where it's like, all right, we're treating you like you're green and you can't do anything, so we're just going to focus on you being a big guy that can move. And keep in mind, like, Odyssey Jones is way bigger than Keith Lee. Like, Odyssey Jones is like 6'5", 400 pounds. Mm-hmm. Right? But when they have him run the ropes, they have him do, have him do shoulder tackles or whatever else, he can move. Like, he can move. Like, it was, remember when you see, like, in the 90s, how Mark Henry would dunk a basketball? Yeah. He might be able to dunk a basketball. He can move. So it's like, all right, he clearly has something, being that size. Crowd likes him for sight unseen. Might have some. So, he ends up winning really quickly after like selling a couple things Andre Chase did, and he ended up beating him. So like, but the match wasn't nothing. But it's like this second match in a row. None of these matches are impressive. Odyssey Jones, like off the look in the presence, like he looks like he might have something. And I've listened to you like he might have something, but like. Remember, I can't remember the Fran Fraschilla joke about that one NBA player that was real sorry. He's like, he's 2 years away from being 2 years away. Yeah, like, Odyssey Jones gonna be a project, right? He's gonna be a project. And
I think I know that guy's name. I think that is Bruno Caboclo that was on the Raptors.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You remember that? But like,
why do I remember these? I can't remember day to day.
It was fucking hilarious when he said that. He buried that dude. 2 years away, being 2 years away. The disrespect. Yes. How dare you? And the funny part is, I was going to say 2 years away from 2 years away for something else, and we'll get to it later in this show. But we'll get to it later. But yeah. So it wasn't a good match. But and it's like they're not even trying to have good matches. They're just like trying to highlight these people in a squash match. It was like, well, it's a breakout tournament. How about you have somebody kind of try to break out, maybe that's for later. Right. Once they get to semifinals and finals, we'll see. But like the only person I've seen before that I think is like really, really good so far, because they liked him so much that they actually brought him up to get have an impressive loss to people, was the Carmelo Hayes dude. But the Carmelo Hayes dude, he don't sell for shit. That's something you can remedy, but like when he was out there with the two guys, he was out there with Adam Cole one time, he's out there with someone else, but when he was out there with Adam Cole, like, bro, like he got thrown into like the steps, or he's supposed to land on his knee and have a bad knee, and then like literally he was on the ground on his back, this is like a month ago, he's on his back and he was like chilling, and all of a sudden he looked up and saw the camera on him, and all he goes, oh, and reached for his knee. I fucking howled. I was like, remember the dude? You might remember this. Yes, remember a while ago I said to dude, like the Carmelo Hayes dude makes carrying crosses sound like Christians. That's the dude I'm talking about. So like he's spectacular as far as all the athleticism and the moves he can do, but like
reel it in.
Not reel it in, just sell. Learn how to sell. If he learns how to sell just a little bit, he could be like I don't want to say damn near, but he could be trying to think of somebody. He could be like a Ricochet type. Like he's that kind of athletic, or I don't even want to give you that much pressure, putting that much pressure on him. Let's say one of the Martin brothers from Top Flight.
Gotcha.
Like he can do anything. That kind of athleticism stuff you see him do.
Oh, by the way, speaking of him, he did a running tope over the ring post today.
Oh, so he did a ricochet.
Yeah. He did that joint Ricochet was doing in like 2014. He did that today.
Okay. That's crazy. Other things to look at. Low lights. It was a squash match. It's Frankie Monet versus a woman named JC Jane. They brought out Jessica Kamea. They're teasing this thing like, all right, so Aaliyah left. Frankie Monet, for weeks before Aaliyah left, was kind of circling those two, like, I'm going to steal those two from Robert Stone. Aaliyah left and is going to the main roster, so, like, I guess it's now it's going to be Jessie, and then, like, Robert Stone's for the time being, but eventually his time's going to come where she boots Robert Stone out his ass, and it's going to be just Jessie as a henchman. But, like, it was a simple squash match, and gotta say, like, Frankie Monet so far, she knows what she's doing, but it doesn't look impressive. Like, she clearly knows, like, I do this, I do X, Y, and Z to elicit this reaction, and it's like, you're absolutely right, but you gotta do X, Y, and Z better to then make people be like, ooh, ah.
I think when she gets on a takeover, she'll be fine. She may just be trying to go with the playbook right now because she's a well-traveled veteran and she's like, all right, she knows exactly what they want. And she's probably getting, stand ovations when she goes back through.
Maybe. And I'm not necessarily saying that what she's doing is bad, but I'm looking at it and, like, maybe it's my fault that I'm, like, comparing it to the stuff I normally watch to Stardom when I'm watching it. But I'm like, yeah, like, that it's like, isn't it just not, it feels like you're almost like you're running through the motions as opposed to, like, really doing it. But whatever. Let's see what else we have. But I'm trying to think what else we have.
Anything good? Anything good?
The good? Oh, hold on. One more bad thing. So Cameron Grimes is doing the Butler thing again with LA Knight. Slave. Yes, Slave. LA Knight is still getting upset that, like, the stuff he's trying to do to Cameron Grimes isn't bothering him. So now all is backfiring on him. So he wanted Grimes. They pulled up to the dangerous PC / Full Sail parking lot, and LA Knight. He told LA Knight to get all the bags. It's 4 different bags, and he's juggling the bags and, falling like a goofball. And then Cameron Grimes was like, I'm sorry, in comes Drake Maverick was like, hey, stop being a dick to him. Like, or actually was like, hey, I'll help you carry these. He's like, this ain't your fight. Leave it alone. LA Knight comes back and says, you want to do his work for him? I want a match. They come and fight.
Like, you want to work for me too? Like,
He's like, no, this is his work. You leave it alone. If you got a problem with that, I'll see you in the ring. So they have a match. And I saw it come from a mile away. What do you think happened? What do you think was the finish, Rich? Or not, what do you think finish? Who do you think won?
LA Knight, for sure. He lost.
Cameron Grimes was getting over with the crowd during the match. So they treated LA Knight went out there like he was Rusev trying to move Lana around to stop Lana from getting cheered. He was one of those. Man. So then he gets back in the ring after he has already stopped the mud hole in Drake Maverick. And he gets back in the ring and then points his head through the ropes out to the ring and tells him to nose roll and shut his mouth because, he's a rock. Yeah. He's a white rock. He's cracked. So next thing you know, I was like, he's about to get fucking schoolboyed. 3 seconds later, Rich, Drake Maverick, schoolboy, 1, 2, 3. Look, Drake Maverick celebrated.
Aren't you supposed to have Cameron Grimes accidentally cost Drake Maverick the match in that situation?
I'm getting to it. So, Drake Maverick celebrates. Cameron Grimes is happy for him and says, hey, you need to get out of here. So Drake was like, you're right. I need to go. I only schoolboyed him. I didn't beat him. I schoolboyed him. He goes to run out the ring the other way. Clothesline, gets his fucking head clotheslined off. Drake getting pummeled by LA Knight. Cameron Grimes looks like he has a choice to make. He gets in the ring and stops LA Knight. LA Knight says, you know what? I'm not done stomping him out. In fact, you know what? I am done stomping him out because you're going to stomp him out, right? So he ends up picking up LA ends up picking up Maverick, holding him, and then the crowd's like, no, don't do it. No, don't do it. He's like, you're a man of your word. You lost his bet. You're a slave, more or less. And then Grimes ends up punching him out, punching out Maverick, and they go back up the aisle. And as they go back up the aisle, Grimes is like, literally walks up to Drake. Is like, I'm sorry, man, I had to. So it's like, that stunk. Because it's like, okay, you got over nobody. Like, everybody likes Grimes. You made him do the wrong. You made him succumb to a slave holder.
Yep.
The slave holder gets embarrassed and loses. The person that gets the upset immediately gets his ass whipped, let you know that it didn't matter. It was all fake, even though we all know it's fake. It's fake, but it's like one of those Corbin Gable losses. It is like nobody got over in this segment.
A triad of getting some people under.
All of this for and that was a 2 minute and 19-second match, Rich.
Who knew you could get people under
that quickly?
That quickly?
Yeah. So here's the good stuff. Opening match, Diamond Mine, Tyler Rust and Roger Strong versus Bobby Fish and Kushida. This is the opening match. This is a playoff of last week. When Diamond Mine debuted, they beat up Kushida. And then they went and beat up Bobby Fish last week. Kushida made the save for Bobby Fish. So it's Bobby Fish and Kushida versus Roderick and Tyler Rust in really good match. It's pretty much like undisputed versus undisputed, damn near, right? So, at the end of it, Kushida ends up getting the W over Tyler Rust. And like that'll continue. So it's back. That's Diamond Mine's first loss, but you know, obviously the person they're protecting is Strong, Roderick. So Rust is gonna eat some L's. They did it. The two storyline things they had in the show was they are building. I just blanked on what I was going to say.
Legato and Hit Row.
Yes, actually 3 things in. So let's do that. Legato and in Hit Row, they came out. Remember, it was supposed to be a mariachi thing or whatever else. So Legato gets in the ring. Santos looks at the mariachi and said, "You know what? You guys don't. This crowd. I'm sorry, I changed my mind. We're not going to do that. I changed my mind. This crowd doesn't deserve our culture, or whatever else." So they leave. So they get the 2 mariachis out the ring, which I've never heard of a 2-man mariachi band in my life. But whatever.
It's supposed to be like 4 or 5.
Right. So
budget was tight.
So they decide to leave, but as they leave, one of them leaves a guitar in the ring, and I was like, angle alert. Angle alert. So he runs down. Then after he says, "You guys deserve this," he's like, we're not just going to snap our fingers and try to entertain you and vomit out the mouth like Hit Row. So Hit Row comes down. They start exchanging words back and forth. They start fighting. Top Dollar ends up fighting, I think, Mendoza. Adonis ends up fighting Wild. They end up out the ring. Then it's Swerve and it's Santos. I keep wanting to call him Phantasma. Santos, they're fighting. And then Santos gets the upper hand after one of the guys from Legato gets back in the ring. I think it was Wild. And then Phantasma gets the guitar, and he's thinking it's like Kevin Owens, like the Kevin Owens processing where he's like, he's on the table. I'm by the top rope. Table, top rope, light bulb is one of those. There's a guitar. He's down. Guitar, light bulb. And I like that, where it's like, I'm trying to tell you stupid idiots what I'm about to do. So, because I'm tired and I'm processing, I'm desperate. So, he goes and gets the guitar. He goes to wind it up. As he winds it up, Brianna Brandy snatches the guitar from them. Swerve lays him out. Then Brandy presents the guitar to Swerve. Swerve looks at it, looks at him, and smiles. It was like, boy, you, I don't want to say evil, but it made me think of like, the Lucha Underground stuff. So, Wild gets in and breaks it up. and Santos is about to ring. They end up laying out everybody else. So it's just now it's everybody in Hit Row in there with Wild, and Santos is out there on the floor. Like, what are you about to do? What do you think about to do? I'm finna bust this man's back up.
Bro, I saw that gif.
Yes!
Bro, Swerve, like, bro, he took the spirit of Jeff Jarrett out on that man's back.
He boshed his, look, Insider, he boshed his fuck ass.
Yes. Yes.
Not bashed, boshed.
Boshed, yes. Yeah, I felt like there was like this loud
man.
scream before he actually made contact too. So it was like, oh man, he knocked the shit out of this man. So like Swerve has like 2 gifts within like the last like 8 months where it's like, oh shit, like when Leon Ruff was hanging out the rope and then he just flies by with the foot.
Yes.
Then this, like, god damn.
The best part about this Swerve and Leon Ruff one was the fact that like Swerve didn't have his footing after that kick, so he damn near fell himself, and he had to get 2 hands on the ground to keep him falling. Like that shit made it better. It's like, I fucking hate you. Bow. Yeah. But yeah. So also another good thing that he did, they
that man playing G flat on that man's back.
So they interviewed, or they didn't interview. I'm sorry. They hyped up next week's match between Thatcher and Ciampa versus Dunn and Lorcan, which is going to be, actually it's tonight, so that I'm sure that match is going to be awesome. Can't wait to watch that. And then throughout the show, Samoa Joe was looking for Karrion Kross after Karrion Kross choked him out last week on the show. So Regal was looking for peace at the beginning of the show, halfway through the show, and then they kept coming back like every like half hour or so of Samoa Joe backstage waiting for Kross to show up so that he can run it. They even did he shows up, he pulls up the parking lot in the Dodge Challenger all the time. So they see the Dodge Challenger, he comes out, he goes to pull the person out the car. It's a geek. And this is the main event angle. So after that Raquel match, he comes out, he pulls the guy out the car, and actually that's set up the main event angle. So then at the end of the show, Joe comes out and is like, I've been here waiting. He didn't say this, but like, I've waited a week and 2 hours. Or actually, a whole week worth of hours. Like, where is Kross? Come out here, stop hiding. I know you here. I saw your vehicle. Where you at? Stop hiding. I'm in my drop top right, my Glock cock right. So anyway, all of a sudden, Kross comes up.
Look it up.
Yeah, a mixtape cut. So, Kross comes on the screen. He says, look, man, this is my NXT. These are my rules. I do what I want. I can do anything, because I have this title. I can do anything I want to anyone. And he pans down, and it shows Regal on the ground. Yeah. Shows Regal on the ground, knocked out. That parking lot boy. Look, he dragged him to the parking lot to do it. He could do this anywhere. So, and to the lure. So, the developmental parking lot lore.
I need to see like a mockumentary about the NXT parking lot.
I'd watch it.
Bro. Like, I think if you have like Malcolm Bivens host that shit and be like, throughout the years, in the NXT parking lot, like there have been these attacks, and then like you just start showing Kenta walking through, and then fucking
Aleister Black,
who done it? Rhea Ripley, all the whodunits, Nikki Cross, sitting on top of the thing.
I know. Yes. The purge. Remember when they were interviewing Io and Kyrie to ask if they had done it? The 2 biggest baby faces in the company. That they lay out.
Gotta cover all. Hey, like they say on TikTok, got to see it through, my boy. Got to see it through. Got to check all people.
Oh man. So.
Like that shit don't need to be no longer than 5 minutes. Like,
bro, they've done so many. They've done so many. You can do like a 15-minute doc. You can actually, bro, they could do a legit 21-minute documentary if they wanted to.
I'm gonna send a text off.
Yes, I was about to ask you. Send it off.
Ideas.
Have Malcolm Bivens or somebody do this at least as a YouTube clip or whatever. Not a YouTube clip, but at least as like a Twitter video or whatever. It's the same thing, like just a investigative journalist type of stuff. Expose of the dangerous PC parking lots.
Yes, and you try to get as many people to talk on that shit, like dead serious about it. Be like, yeah, man, that parking lot, like I try to stay out of there. I try to get, I try to park and then get right in the building.
Remember when Ciampa whooped the ass of every Undisputed member until he could get a hold of Adam Cole, and then he said, look, by the end of the night, I'm going to powerbomb your ass through this table, and I'm going to get this contract signed. And I was actually at that show. That was actually the 2020 Dusty Cup final that Riddle and Dunn won. I was at that show. He literally did that shit, and then that man like started bleeding out the back of his head when he was scrapping with Cole, and the whole crowd. I didn't chant this, but the crowd yelled, "Sign, use the blood, because his bald head was bleeding." Ciampa touched his head. It was like, "Fuck it, sign that shit in blood." But yeah,
get it back in blood.
Yeah. So after that happens, they pan down to Regal, and Joe gets out the ring, runs out. As he's running out, Cross is running away. Cross then gets in the car right as Joe gets out there and almost chases down the car. And then he turns back to Regal and goes to black. So, oh yeah, I forgot the best match on the show. My bad. Colorado versus Austin Theory. Like Austin Theory was bumping his gums about that terrible promo that O'Reilly cut last week, where he looked like an uninspiring babyface. It was like, this dude's a sucker, and keep in mind over the months, like Austin Theory has run checks his ass, can't cash. That's why he's on such a loose streak. He always loses. So O'Reilly was like, "It's funny stuff you said that you said on Twitter or whatever else. I'll see you in the ring." And then Johnny was like, "Man, you yourself in trouble all the time. I ain't got nothing for you. You're on your own." So they had a match. It was really good. It was like 3.5 stars, or maybe even 3 3/4, probably 3.5. But it was really cool. Really added like a bunch of really cool stuff. Like Theory is getting better. And he's always been someone that had good matches with people that are great. So but the same situation as always. Theory has the same baggage everybody else does with Me Too stuff. So, or speaking out. So, O'Reilly ended up winning. He powered up at the end. He went nuts on him, and then he ended up slapping the submission, made him tap out. But it was a really good match. But that's pretty much just NXT.
Forgot to mention, the Painmaker will be back next week.
That's I forgot about the Painmaker.
Had the jacket laying around just in case.
When he had his back turned, I saw that hat. I was like, "This is the fucking Painmaker, isn't it?" And then he turned around. I was like, and then he had that fucking face paint around his eyes. I was like, "God damn it, you fucking Alice in Chains ass bitch!"
Yo, Jericho can do what he want, bro. He's so over right now. So over.
No, but I'm not laughing at him because it sucks. I'm laughing at him because he looks fucking ridiculous.
Fucking hilarious.
You're too old to be doing this. Like, he's not too old to be doing this, obviously, but like, what? He's such a fucking ham.
Yes.
But, Deathmatch Jericho at this age is the best Jericho. So.
Hey, I ain't got no problem with it.
Didn't Jericho win?
Big Ed's gonna come see about it.
Didn't Jericho win, broke Ishii's streak for best brawler?
No.
Wasn't he up there? Didn't he almost steal it like a couple years ago, like 2018 or 19?
I had to look it up.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, you look at these 2018 to now, like his best matches are these death matches.
Chris Jericho also a deathmatch wrestler?
No, Jericho now. Gotcha. Pete Jericho, nah.
I'm about to say,
nah. Look, it's WWE. Like, it's a brawling territory. People. You can pretend otherwise, but like, what do you think Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing? He was brawling in the crowd.
Deathmatch promotion?
Bruh, okay. TLC, Money in the Bank, Hell in a Cell. I mean, every other month is a fucking specialty pay-per-view based on some gimmick.
Ladder
it kind of is. Yes. Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Yo. Who knew? WWE Deathmatch promotion.
Oh, man. Okay.
But I guess there's only one thing left to do, James.
What's that?
Hit the music.
Okay, so matches to talk about. Okay, so first off, Stardom's gotten himself in this situation with them being able to upload shows in different order than chronological because they had one of those. You know, I've talked about this before, Rich, where it's like they're doing like 3 shows in 4 days. I don't know about that third show. It's gonna be like one of those NBA teams. It's on. I heard kick. It's rough. No lift. So no snap. They had 6 shows in 9 days. They did Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Over the last 9 days. So a lot of shows didn't get up yet. But they did put like one big match they didn't put up yet, but they did put up the white belt title match between Tam and Starlight Kid. That match was great. I liked it more than the Kamatani match at last pay-per-view. It was better worked. It had more thought put into it. I think it also helped that like Saya Kamatani didn't have, or that Starlight Kid didn't have fucked up ribs. So, but either way, it had an interference. I think, quite frankly, this is the best Oedo Tai interference match since Kagetsu retired. I gave this match 4 flat stars. If this match did not have interference, and it was just like a second batch of interference, I might have gone 4 1/4. Like it was great storytelling. Matches based around Starlight Kid hurting Tam's back and ribs, and then with some subterfuge because Cosmic Angels and Oedo Tai are down on the floor. Early in the match, Starlight Kid says something to Saki while the other members of Oedo Tai and Cosmic Angel are scrapping out on the floor. The ref is just distracted. Saki ends up untying the corner pad and snatches it down. The ref sees it in the last second and literally runs to try to stop it. Saki sees it, snatches that fucker down, and then they proceed to throw Tam into the unexposed turnbuckle twice. There's a lot of cool stuff where like over the like last year or so, Starlight Kid in lower matches would beat like the younger girls with a Texas Cloverleaf. So working on that back, fighting to get the Texas Cloverleaf. Tam recognizes it, scrambles to the ropes. Starlight Kid gets works over that back so much to where she ends up going up to the top rope. Goes for a top rope moonsault. Tam gets the knees up at the last second. Tam fights back, gets the advantage. Then ends up, after a while of going through the match, gets Tam, runs her into the post again, or the corner exposed again. She's done for. Flips her on her stomach to where her back is exposed. Goes to the top rope and hits a top rope moonsault onto the bad back. Tam kicks it like 2.9. Also, given that they wrestled at the February Korakuen Hall in I think January or February, can't remember. And Tam got Starlight Kid out of there with just one Tiger Suplex. Tam hits one, doesn't work out, so she goes for her super one, the Twilight Dream. They're scrambling to try to avoid, desperate not to get pinned with that. And they're going back and forth. There's a brawl at the end with forearms and everything. There's a James Boy spot where they crash each other with double forearms. And then this is the finish. I wrote it down.
James has the biggest smirk as he's pulling this up right now. Yeah. So
okay, so Tam has the match dead to rights. So Kid whips Tam into the exposed corner again. Kid charges from the opposite corner. Tam drop toe holds Kid into the exposed turnbuckle. Tam fires up and gets Kid up for the Twilight Dream. Rauka gets up on the apron with her weapon and distracts the ref. Tam throws Kid to the mat after getting her up. to stop the ref from distracting, or try to stop Roka from distracting the ref. Saki slides the chair to Kid. The camera pans and zooms tight on Kid because she's never cheated to win before. This is the moment of truth. By the time Kid gets to her feet with that chair, Tam comes flying in into the shot with a super kick. Kid staggers. Tam goes for another head kick. Kid ducks and goes to run Tam into Ryoko, that's still on the apron with her weapon cocked. Tam ducks out the way. Tam and Roka ends up hitting Kid with her weapon. The ref sees it and is like, after all the bullshit, Time's pulling this match, I'm letting it slide. So, Tam then kicks Roka's head off and knocks her off the apron, and then bicycle knees Kid, gets her up, and then hits her with the Twilight Dream and drops her and pins her. I like the match. Like, you did all that.
Kids.
You did all the cheating. You did all. Well, she's 19.
Well, they're beating up children.
She's 19. Hey, look, when Julie was out here beating her up and taking off the mask, you weren't saying that. Now it's an issue, huh? Now it's an issue.
Tam's supposed to be better than this.
She's the one that asked for the match. It's not like Tam called her out. Tam would have called out Mayu. Anyway, so this was I really enjoyed this match from a storytelling perspective. Like, this was like the most Kyrie match I think I've seen in Stardom since I started watching, which is like just filled with story and selling and fighting back and in a way that's like, if a Western fan that saw this or this would have fit perfectly into like a WWE AEW show as far as a title match. Like, it went 22 minutes. It had all the first. It's not the same stuff because, like, obviously there's not as many kicks and suplexes or whatever, but it reminded me a lot of like the Jericho fighting, Moxley fighting the inner circle to get to Jericho, where it's like somebody's constantly cheating, and then eventually the babyface overcomes and turns the tables through guile and smarts and outsmarts people and ends up winning at the end. Like, I really enjoyed this match. I ended up giving 4 flat. If it had one less round of interference, it had a cleaner finish, I would have given 1 with 4 and a quarter on it. I really enjoyed this match. This is Starlight Kid and Tam's best match with each other. So, trying to think what else.
Marvelous tag.
One more thing. On the undercard of this is the July 21st show. There is a 2 out of 3 falls match between Julia, Shuri, and Micah versus Utami, Momo, and Tall Saya, and it's good. It's good. I ended up going, I didn't give it 4, I gave it going 3 and 3/4 because, like, it's a 2 out of 3 falls match in like 15 minutes, but it was fun, and like most of it was like Shuri, and in the first 2 falls is mostly Shuri and Utami, and it's like, god damn, they're a feud of the year contender. Like, as many times they've wrestled each other, that match, they're going to have that Grand Prix match. They're going to have to have another match for the end of the year. Like, that's going to be a match of the year contender by the end of the year, guaranteed. Like, this, they're just excellent together, and they've been wrestling each other for months. It's just been a blast to watch them in all different types of matchups. Just kill each other. They're awesome together. They really are. So yeah, that's all I have on Stardom right now. Oh, one other thing. They did a Future of Stardom rematch. Unagi beat Mina. That match was not good. Like, the match on pay-per-view was so much better. Like, this match.
I never got to talk about that pay-per-view match, but
go ahead.
I really like that match. I know Unagi gets kind of picked on or whatever, but I like her. So
I like her too. I just think that she's behind everybody. A lot of the women, or almost all the women that have experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I like the match. Yeah,
it was a good match. I think I gave it 3.5.
I think I gave it 3 3/4.
Okay, so we're about the same place. Yeah. So, with that, we will transfer to talk about the preview to Grand Prix. But first, because Stardom had a few people participate in Marvelous's 5th year anniversary show, I decided to watch the last 3 matches of the show. The first match, the first of the 3 was Mayu Iwatani versus Rin Katakura. Rin, as some of y'all are more familiar with from being in the AEW Japanese side of the Women's Eliminator Tournament. She was in there with Mayu. Mayu is her reason why she got into the wrestling business. She inspired her idol, whatever you want, or not idolized her, or whatever else. And since last year, Marvelous has had Rin, Takumi Iroha, and Meiho Suzuki come in and do some stuff on Stardom shows. Like, Rin's last time in Stardom was the April pay-per-view, where they ended up losing Kid. Where they
wasn't she in the big battle royal too?
Yes, she was. So was May. Suzuki. So, yeah, man. So that match is like a undercard Mayu Grand Prix match. Like, went 7 minutes, 3.5 stars. It's like, God, like, you watch her and just like, she makes this shit look so easy. And then, like, you look at like, yeah, 3.5 stars. You're like, oh, in 7 minutes. God damn, you're good. Like, she could wrestle almost literally anybody. She could like Yoshihiko, the doll from DDT. Mm-hmm. She could wrestle the doll to 3.5 stars in 7 minutes. Like, she's that fucking good. Rin was there. It was very. That sounds like I'm being disrespectful.
Yeah,
Rin is good. There. Rin is good. Mayu's on a whole nother level. She beat her quickly. It was almost like a less fast, but it's almost like the the Mayu in like Hazumi match from like 2019 in the Grand Prix, where it's like, I'm going to give you some things, and then I'm going to beat you. And it's not going to be a competitive match, but it's not meant to be a competitive match. So that was fun, and then they hugged each other and they walked off. So the match that Rich actually did see that I actually recommended to him, Starlight Kid and Mio Momono. So Mio Momono this year is one of the best, like, Joshi wrestlers this year outside of Stardom. She basically like put her in all the big stuff that Takumi couldn't do while she was out with the torn ACL, and she is floored.
Smart move.
Yeah. So Starlight Kid and Mio Momono versus Azumi and other Azumi, Meiho Suzuki. They have talked about being a tag team. And I think they're going to be in the tag later. I think they're actually not going to do Momo and Azumi this year. I think they're going to put May in there, and I think it's going to be great because they've already had a tag match, early this year. They had Starlight Kid versus, Giant Sai, and that match was awesome. I may have gone 4 stars on that. Like, but, so it's those four, and it's basically a high-speed tag team wrestling match, which I've never seen before, and was fucking fantastic. Rich, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man, this felt like an exhibition all-star game. Very fast, crisp work. Some of it, you look at him like, oh, it looks a little coordinated, but like that doesn't bother me.
Right.
In and out of like different submissions and rolls and stuff like that. I was shocked to see Azumi get pinned here. I didn't think they would let. I didn't think Ross would, let one of those one of his folks get pinned, or if they were going to get pinned, it would be Starlight doing it, but maybe you save the Azumi and Starlights for your stuff. I was very impressed by the other two, Mio and May. Yeah, they fit like right in, and the Starlight Kid Azumi rivalry, like we already know what that is as far as like the level of work you can expect, and those two fit right in there pretty much seamlessly. Like we were popping like somebody, like a good 3-point shooter on the Spurs or something. Like, oh yeah, you just slot in right here. Like that's kind of like what it felt like. I was wondering when the winners could fight the Bucks, because I thought that might be interesting when I was watching it. But yeah, I liked it. I think I went 4 stars on it.
Yeah, I went 4 flat as well. And like, that's 11-minute match. They packed so much shit in this match, and it was like literally like watching, 2 sets of Azumi and Starlight Kid. Like, I've seen May from all the stuff that they've done in their excursions into Stardom, and I've loved her. And like, she's not exactly like as advanced as Starlight Kid and Azumi. Like, she throws a lot of drop kicks like a young girl does, but like, she's just so fast and so smooth, just like Azumi and Kid are. And like, and in Mio, like, I haven't seen that much of Mio because I'm not in the Stardom excursion, but the stuff I have seen of her, I've been impressed. Like, she was in the main event of the Hannah tribute show, which is, that match was incredible. I gave him going 4.25 in that match, and she's all over the place in that match as well. Like it, I mean, she's fucking good. She's fucking good. I mean, all four of them, you can say the same thing, but it's like there is just a level of like high speed wrestler that's under 25 and like 4'11" in Japan is just like whether it's like someone who's been around since like 2013, like Azumi, or someone that's only been around like May since 2018, like late 2018, like whatever they're doing to train these women is a whole nother fucking level than whatever we're doing on our side. Yeah. And there's no reason why we can't wrestle like that. Why we can't have our women wrestle like that, or our men even wrestle like that. They're that fucking good. It's like there are a lot of men that they fucking smoke. It's
like they just roll. It's like they're rolling around. Like it's like they're not even. It's not even
like they're doing crazy shit, like doing a bunch of flips and dives or whatever else. They're just solid technical wrestlers.
But it's like lightning quick. And
yes,
it's like they're in and out of moves, rolling around the ring, and like just running back and forth. Like their footwork is great. And like sometimes they sacrifice the striking a little bit, but I mean the trades are made in that style. So
yeah, and I mean like even in like high speed singles matches, it was a tag match that made it go so lightning fast. Like it would have slowed down to get the striking in had it been a singles match for a high speed title or whatever else, but like that wasn't the point. So it was just fantastic, and you know. I forgot what I was looking at. I know what it was. Last weekend set of shows, they did a little pre-match intro thing for Tam because it was her 5th anniversary. I think it was the last Sunday show. The 18th was her 5th year anniversary. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I look at the people in the PC that have been around since 2016. I'm just like, is there anybody that's been wrestling for 5 years in WWE, that started in WWE, that like can lace her fucking boots? I don't think so.
I had to look.
But... And then you look at like Meiho Suzuki, who's been wrestling since like November 2018 was her debut. You saw that? Who the fuck is that good? It's in WWE that started wrestling 2018. Let alone late 2018. Let alone basically beginning of 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely not Raquel Gonzalez. Sorry, Raquel, but
man, just a different breed. It seems like. But
the main event on that show is that the Takumi return match.
The main event is Takumi's return match. She tore her.
I would have watched that.
Huh?
I said, had I known that, I would have watched that.
And the match wasn't actually that good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. Like I'll get to it in a second, but the video packages they show Takumi, the spot where she actually tore ACL. I never saw the spot. She's basically like powering somebody over her head. They like give like almost like an attempt to get out of a power bomb behind her back into like almost like a sunset flip pin or a code red or whatever else, and just her right knee just, and it wasn't even like devastatingly like a disgusting looking angle, but it just went in, and you just like, oh, you know what it is once you see that knee bend in. And like they show,
unless you're Giannis, you know.
Well, I mean, he got lucky. His knee went backward like a flamingo instead of to the side. So they show the road back to rehab. I actually saw that video that they showed because they put it on Twitter before the anniversary show. So it was basically showing her, you know, like the video that she was posting. Some of the videos she's posted along the time on the road to recovery were like they're showing her she could barely walk. They're showing how she was like stuck in the hospital for a while. And like the only person that could see her was Chigusa Nagayo, and like just showed her like, you know, after the surgery, like getting back, and like how, you know, at certain points like it was hard for her to even like walk a couple steps without a crutch, to then like showing her like starting to, you know, walk. They're showing her like rolling. They're showing her like doing like kick work and how much it would hurt her leg. Keep in mind, like she's a right-footed kicker, so like it was her right knee. So like to be able to kick, in theory, like you need a stable left leg. That's your plant leg. Like normally, like, cause like if you have a torn ACL, like you ever watch some UFC fighters, people get like fucked up knees and all of a sudden like they kick with that bad leg because they can use it as a whip. They don't need to stabilize. So, but she was having struggles with that. To like all of a sudden building back to where she's back in like 8 months. She's back 8 months. And like she's back and she's wrestling Hibiki. Hibiki is someone that I've, out of that like class of young girls and Marvelous from like 2018, like the three that I know are Maria, Mikito Shindo, and May. But I've never seen Hibiki. She's one of them. And like, I saw, you see people's timelines, you see pictures of her and you see the transformation over like the 2 years or whatever. And you're just like, oh, she's basically turned into like this monster heel that like is annoying as fuck. All right. Mm-hmm. So like the match is happening and like she's bullshitting around and remember Andres Miyagi?
Yes.
So after she left Stardom, she's bounced around and she's been in like Act Rest Girls, and apparently like there is some angle, multi-promotional angle. I don't know if it's in Oz Academy or if it's in Sendai Girls as well, but like there's a stable of men and women from different indie promotions in quotation marks where like they're basically like we're all black and they're heels and they cheat and they're just bastards. It's not Ozaki-gun. I know you're amazed like light bulbs. Like, it's not Ozaki-gun. It's like,
is it Bullet Club?
It's like, but they're almost like goths. But almost like goths. I can't really put my finger on it because obviously I'm not Japanese. I don't know the cultural significance of whatever they're doing, but like they're all wearing black. They all have like they're all like pale faced almost. And like, and Hibiki's in that, and like she's in there, and the Miyagi's out here helping her cheat, helping Hibiki cheat against Takumi, and like it's a lot of this body part match, work on the bad right neck for like 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, and then like eventually Takumi like comes back, and like I'm just there to watch to like see, because I just want to see like where is she, and then like she starts running off them kicks, she starts hitting the ropes, she hits a fucking swan time, like holy shit, she is like Takumi again. So that's really all I wanted out the match. Like I want evidence to see where I want enough to see where she kind of is physically. So she's moving. She looks like herself. So I'm happy that she's going to be in the Grand Prix, and I guess that's now the transition to get to the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we've got the red block and the blue block. I don't know how we should do this, James. Should we do over and under on the amounts of points for each person here?
Over or under? Yeah, sure. Let's do it quickly, though. Let's do it quickly.
Okay. So Death Yamasan. This is a red block, by the way.
Yeah, this is a red block. Oh, well, before we get to that, looking at the makeup of each block, what block is the A block and what block is the B block?
The A block is the blue block.
Yeah. And I don't think it's because of the stylistic choices, but I just like the firepower on that block is so much. It's just heavy artillery. Like, going through this.
It's like they have like one or two more people.
Yeah.
In the blue
basically.
block.
Like the blue block is Azumi, Konami, Maika, Roka, who's, I don't think, like, if not for her injury, I don't think she's in this. I don't know. Actually, she was going to be in it, but like, in a normal circumstance, like if B hadn't left, she wouldn't be in this. Like, they just wanted to get to 20. Like, if this was, like, last year or 2 years ago, she wouldn't even be in this tournament. But whatever. Shuri, Tall Saya, Takumi, Tam, Unagi, and Utami. Like, that's a fucking killer block.
That's a killer block.
Killer block. And then the red block is Fukigen Death. We could just call her Death. Julia Himeka, who, looking at the scheduling, Takumi and Himeka basically don't start this tournament until the end of the month. Takumi is, I'm assuming that's because of like, make sure everything's right before I, hop into this this fucking gauntlet of matches. And then Himeka's was out for 2 months with the back issue. Like she only wrestled that one match in the the Cinderella tournament to put over Tall Saya. So she's been going for 2 months. So, this is about the time she was expected back. So they're giving her more time to recuperate fully. So I'm happy for that. Nasupoi, who's been going for a month. Starlight Kid, Kaguma, Mayu, Mina, Momo, and Saki. So like, you know, I think that like if you look at the personality and character of both blocks, I think the A block is the red block. But if you go off just like the sheer overwhelming like power of work rate and match quality, you got to say that the A block is the Blue Stars.
Yeah, this should be a great tournament.
Yeah,
really excited to see Takumi. But let's go back to the
over-unders.
The over-underers. So they have how many matches they wrestle? They wrestle 9 matches.
Yeah, just like G1 this year.
Okay.
Yeah, they got 10 people each block.
Death, what's our over or under?
I'm gonna say the over-under is 3 points.
3 points. All right. Julia.
I'm thinking 13.
I'm with you. I think I'll take the over on that.
I probably would too, right at 14.
Yep. Himeka.
She won the block. She won her block last year that had Julia and Mayu in it. Momo was not in that block. I think she doesn't make the final again. So I'm going to say 11.
I was going to say 9, but so I'll take the under on that.
Okay.
Starlight Kid.
Okay, so
is it time to elevate?
so they originally had a schedule out, and then they moved one of the matches to a later date, as if like there's going to be booking implications for 2 people, and it involved Kid and Momo. So I'm thinking they're going to not be eliminated until like, well, to be quite frankly, like the last night is Kid versus Mayu. So like, you know, that's going to have ramifications for one or both of them to win the block. So I think that you have to say that like at least 12.
I was going to say 11, but
okay.
So yeah, we're on the same page pretty much there. Kaguma.
Ooh, I'm going to say like 8.
I will go 6.
Okay.
On that. Mayu Iwatani, the icon.
You got to say 13, right?
Yeah, I think her and Julia pretty much equal footing. Yeah. Mina.
Thinking like 5 or 6.
I was gonna go 8 for Mina, but
maybe like I think that's the ceiling. I think that's the ceiling, but I think she's.
Or 7. I'll go. How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
Watanabe.
The last night of the tournament, she is facing Julia.
They hate Momo, so I'm gonna go 9.
I don't hate. Okay, I'm going to go 12.
Okay,
I'm going to go 12. I have yet to see her in a Grand Prix where she was eliminated before the final night. So just based off that, she's going to have to be. I think she has to be in contention.
Natsupoi.
She's somebody that I wish they would go higher with. But I'm just going to stick. I'm going to stick at 8. Actually, no. I'll say 9. I think she might break even.
I'll go with you on that. 9. Saki Kushima.
Oh,
I got 6.
I was going to say 5, but yeah, sure. Okay. 5, 6. Yeah. 5, 6. Yeah, she's doing jobs.
Yep. To the blue block, Azumi.
This one stinks. She's gonna have some killer matches. She might end up being like,
she about to get beat like a drum.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 7. And like possibly take the under.
That's why I was thinking like maybe I should go. I'm thinking 6. Like she is going to be like, she's going to be like 4th or 5th in average star rate in this tournament, and she's going to end up winning 6 points. Jeez. Like 6 or 8 points.
Konami.
They want to push her to get a title shot, a title challenge against either Utami or Tam after this tournament. She's gone to draws with both of them for 15 minutes in the last month or month and a half. She kicked the shit out of Tam, had on the ropes. So just based off of that, they have to keep her strong. Like, you know, she's always the person that you want to keep strong in a tournament like this. I'm gonna go. It's such rough treading in this fucking block. I'm gonna say 10.
I'll go 9.
Okay.
Micah.
You can't say less than 8. But I don't think you can say more than 12. I'm gonna say 9.
I'm with you on that. I just feel like there's too many other people we have to account points for.
Yeah. They had both champions in the same block.
Right. Ruoka.
0. No, yeah. I do that. 1. 1.
Yeah.
1.
1. And I'll take the under.
Yeah. Same here.
Shuri. I'm gonna go 14.
Boy. I'm gonna say 14 because she might get 2 or 3 draws in this bitch. Bro.
That's what we need to have over or under on. How many draws in this fucking thing?
But specifically her, because she's the queen of draws. Like, they do not like beating her at all. But they also, but like, you know what I'm saying? So like, she is the most protected person in this entire company, and they protect her instead of beating her and giving her draws. So, and she's great at doing draws too. So I'll go with 14.
How many draws in the tournament, James?
Last year there were I wrote this out and sent it to you the other day, didn't I?
I'm not sure.
Hold on.
But yeah, so far, like, it's a hell of a tournament right here. Make sure you get your merge.
Okay, so last year's tournament had 57 matches. 6 of them went to draw or NASCO DQ. I think it was 4 draws, 4 flat out draws.
I'm taking more than that this year.
Well, I'll say, what did I put? I say so it'll probably be like 7 or 8 draws. Yeah, so right. 7.5.
So up next we got Tall Saya.
All right, so she got her title match. She won the Cinderella tournament.
That would seem the tip off. She's not winning this one.
Oh yeah, she's not winning this. I'm gonna say I would say 9.
I was gonna go with 8.
You think she'll do better in the tournament than Micah?
Yes.
Okay. I think they'll do about the same.
I don't know.
I think they're about the same.
Maybe about the same.
I mean, we're only 1 point off, so it's not that big of a deal.
Takumi Iroha, One Nation Radio's own.
One Nation Radio. Why not? Sure.
We drafted her this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought you. Okay, I forgot. I totally forgot.
Sponsored athlete. One Nation Radio sponsored athlete.
Yes. Put a pyramid on. Put a pyramid on that gear. She has Soraya's gear too. Yeah, she has Soraya's gear. Like, it was almost like candy red. The gear. Like she's just so goddamn cool. I know you said that one time, but like, that's just the truth. She's fucking cool. She's cool. She comes out dressed like nothing I've ever seen before. Sometimes comes down to the ring playing her own theme music on guitar. She kick the shit out of you like she's a bushi. She does swantons. She'll strong style brawling this bitch. Like,
powerbomb your dumb ass.
Yes, to death. She's just so fucking spectacular. Like, god damn, she's awesome. All right,
I'm gonna go 11.
Okay, so the final night is her versus Shuri.
Take my money now. Take my money now.
Yeah. So
also, One Nation Radio's own Shuri Kondo.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna say, what did we give Shuri? 14?
Yes.
I'm gonna say 14 when she's gonna be involved in some draws. Like, I think there's a top 4 in this block. I think this is a clear top 4. 2 champions, Shuri and Takumi. I think they're gonna be the clear class of this block, where they're gonna be, I think there's 2 losses between each of those 4. So I think, like, I'm just gonna call out 14 for those 4. To be honest with you.
All right. Tam.
I'm gonna go 13 actually on that one. Now I'm thinking about it, because like she has to lose some people to then set up rematches.
Yeah, so
rematch like so maybe like one more loss than the rest of the pack, like, and still be like some mathematical equations to actually play in the last night, but she'll be eliminated.
I'm gonna go 12 points for Tam. Like,
okay.
I'll give her a 6-3 record.
I think that she's going to lose to Konami. I think that she will split with between Shuri and Utami, and I think she'll probably lose to Takumi. So whatever that is. So was that okay? So what would that be? That'd be -2. I'm bad at math right now. I said that she was about to go what?
How many times did you say she lose? 3 times?
2 times and 1 draw.
Okay, so in that case, that is 13.
Yeah, so that's what you said, right? 13?
I said 12, but
okay, yeah. So over under. I'll put over under 13.
Unagi.
Ooh. I'd say 3.
6.
3 or 4.
I was gonna say 6.
Okay, so I think she's gonna be, well, I would say that she beat Raka, but like Raka might beat her to set up a futures match. And if that's the case, then it's looking real grim for her, because she might get like one upset.
You gotta find the wins. You give her one upset. Like, could she beat a tall Saya?
Yes. On some banana peel shit.
Could she beat Micah?
No.
Could she beat one of the champions?
No. She ain't beating Takumi either.
Could she beat Konami?
No. She walked the dog out. She walked the dog with her during that 7-match trial series. It wasn't even competitive.
So she's somewhere probably between 2 and 3 wins, struggling to find a 3rd win.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would probably say 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Big U, Utami.
Gotta say 14.
Yeah. She's one of the best champions going. So I think she's gonna basically probably lose a match or 2. I'll probably say 2. And maybe like a match and a draw even. And then like there's mathematical fuckery that keeps her out of it.
The only people that are going to beat her, the only people that have a chance of beating her are Tam, Shuri, Takumi, and Konami. I think she beats everybody else. Can't have Saya beat her because she beat her at Budokan Hall. So we're already past that. Yeah. So there's no point in even doing that for a rematch. At least not for the rest of not until next year at least.
Hey man, I know the G1 doesn't have their bracket out right now, but gotta say, man, this one, thinking about what could be where, I'm kind of liking the Grand Prix right now.
I'm not doing that with you. I'm not going there. You're on your own.
I'm kind of liking it. I don't know. Like the clap crowds hit different for me.
I think. Okay, so this is how I see it. Right. The blue block, I could agree with you.
Correct. I'm primarily staring at the blue block when I'm saying this.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
If you're saying the blue block, then sure, yeah, fine. Because there have been because the better block in each of the 2 that I've seen, like last year's blue block that had Momo, Micah, Utami, Shuri, Azumi, and I'm maybe blanking on somebody else. Like I had an higher average star rating than that B block from last year, easily.
Yeah, that B block was an exhibition.
Yeah, like when you're second or third best average star rating is Yoshihashi. No disrespect to Yoshihashi. You actually know who Yoshihashi is in Stardom?
Unagi.
Yep, absolutely. I may get my ass whooped, but I command respect. You will not try to big bro me or big sis me. We will fight. You will whoop me, but you will not disrespect me.
Hey,
shout out to Yoshihashi.
We need people that claim their respect in this world.
Right. So, yeah. I guess
should be a great tournament.
Yeah. So I guess last year we did top 2 picks for each block for prediction. So
how do we do? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we did great, right? Like you picked you had Utami 1, Tam 2 for winners. I had Tam and Utami.
Okay.
So like my second prediction was 1 and your first prediction 1. We did great. As far as getting out of blocks, I picked Himeka to win as my second pick to win the block. I forgot. I think you had Kamatani as your second pick, and Tam.
Gotcha.
I had Tam and Himeka. And the blue block, we both had Utami number 1. I forgot what our second picks were for the blue block. So we did good. We did great. It's almost like we do this. It's almost like we watch this.
I was gonna say that's why you kind of One Nation Radio. You just figure it out. Always ahead.
Yeah. So, all right. So predictions for the red block. The two. Who are your 2 predictions to win the red block?
I'm going to take Mayu or Julia.
Same here. I'm gonna go Julia.
I'll lean with Mayu, actually.
Wow. It seems so obvious if they go with Julia, that I'll just that Mayu won the damn thing in 2018. They've never done a repeat. They've never done a 2-time winner. Fuck it. It's gonna be one of them 2, but I'll go with Mayu too. You have convinced me. There's also this thing where like so many of the winners of the Grand Prix in previous years have been people that have like were red or white belt champions and lost it were the last reign from were the successors of the predecessors of the champions going in. So Kyrie,
look, they got Tam hidden in that other block. Like she could win this shit and say, "Yeah, I want the white belt."
Right.
That's my thinking.
And that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. That's the dream.
Look, that's why they're keeping it away from you in the in the blocks.
And keep in mind, I think I don't know about 2018, but like 2019 and 20, like Tam and Maya have more or less been like tied to the hip in the same block, which is kind of like the reason why like we have called the blocks that Mayu and Tam were in the last 2 years like the A block, because like that's just the aesthetic of the block. So yeah, they kept them apart for a reason. They know what they're doing. So B block.
A little bit tougher because we have 2 champions here.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I know my 2 are, but what you go ahead.
I'm going to go with Shuri and Takumi, and I'm going with Shuri.
That's exactly what I'm going with.
Man, great minds think alike.
Shuri and Takumi, like the champions don't like those are it. Like it'd be cool if Micah made a deep run, but she made a deep run last year. Like she was alive until the last. She was alive until the final night, where because of the postponements or whatever else and makeups for either there was a cancellation because of COVID or it was a cancellation because of COVID. Shuri had to wrestle twice in 2 Grand Prix matches to try to get to the final where she ended up fighting Micah, and that match was great, and beat her, and then she ended up fighting to a draw with Utami, and then Utami ended up winning the block because of the tiebreaker. So yeah, I think this is I think it's Shuri, and then like Takumi, like they're gonna bring her in and like have her make noise. Like I imagine she's gonna beat Utami so that Utami can get a match, a red belt match somewhere down the line, and that match is gonna go fucking off. So yeah, those are my two. Shuri 1, Takumi 2.
You want my batshit crazy scenario is Azumi runs fucking wild, and Azumi arrives.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Like shit. Why not? Like, you know, we talked about a banana peel loss. Like, why can't Azumi beat Tam?
Right.
Like, I mean, like, I don't think you can have Azumi and Konami both beat Tam, but like, I think one or the other.
Right. Man, Azumi and Takumi. Man, also One Nation Radio's own Azumi.
Yeah. So, winners. Gotta pick one or two. Gotta pick two of them.
I'm picking Mayu Iwatani over Shuri in the final.
Those are my two. Mayu and Shuri. Like, either one makes all the sense in the world. Like, to get to, like, there are two big matches on, like, the rest of the end to get to the end of the year, whatever big show they do or whatever else. And like, it's either Mayu and Tam for the white belt or Shuri Utami for the red belt. It's one of them two. And I think like one of them has to win to get to that. Like, you could do Julia. I don't think that's as narratively satisfying. She's been doing a lot of hanging out. Like, if you saw what they did to get, like, for the first, like, 2 or 3 minutes of their 2 out of 3 falls match, you'd be like, what the fuck is Julia and Shuri doing? They're goofballs.
Dressing like a cop.
Well, they had rainbow-colored afros on and wrestled the first 2 minutes of the match.
I saw the rainbow-colored afros on Twitter, and I was like,
what the fuck is this?
What is going on?
Right.
I don't know the culture.
But the thing is,
I don't know the culture.
They're just being goofballs. They're just being goofballs. They're just being goofballs, and it was a setup. And after they got those shits knocked off their heads off a drop kick, then they proceeded to fucking kill it and just to build up their tag title defense against Utami in Tulsaya. That was the 22nd. It's not up yet, but I want to see it.
I was like, are they trying to fuck with Def Yama-san or something? Like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, the clown. That's right. No, but I want to find a picture of it so I can be like, you know, the Meek Mill repo shit. You a clown ass nigga, put a wig on.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I think that's it. Is there anything else?
Nah, man. You know, yeah, you can wrap this up.
All right, that's in the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to the show with. Also, go to the Red Circle and drop a donation off. We work hard for y'all, so y'all send the work back to us.
Quality show today.
Yes. Hella quality. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/SocialSuplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise and listen to the other shows on the network. You have Keepin It Strong Style. You have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. You have Roman Wash's shit. You have the Great Consequences Podcast. I was about to say 8-Bits, but it came out the other way. Also, 8-Bit Suplex. You have All Things Elite, and you have Great Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Hey, one last thing. Rajon Rondo has 2 more rings than Chris Paul.
Hey, who would you rather have your team, though?
The one that'll win.
Who would you rather have on your team?
End the show.
Later.
End the show.
There's more fun than ever as Cedar Point throws its biggest party ever now through August 15th. Witness the park's 150-year history in a spectacular nighttime parade. Enter every day for your chance to win a ticket of a lifetime. Ride on Snake River Expedition and taste your way around the point. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. Get your tickets at cedarpoint.com. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and the District of Columbia who are 13 years of age or older. Void in Florida, New York, and where prohibited. Visit ticketofalifetime.com. Sponsor Millennium Operations, LLC, doing business as Cedar Point.